And I think this is kind of a scary place to start for them, just because it's been a while since I've been able to watch this roster kind of, bring in a new game plan to Icebox and show us what they've got on this map. We used to see we did rocking the Viper here. Aaron's already locked in this Astra. So for me, there's a lot of question marks about whether XSET's going to make this a competitive map. And as far as the order of the maps go, Doug, I could speculate all day, but here and now, I think it just starts where if this is going to be a weak map for XSET, and this is just, purely hypothetical at this point, but, at least they're getting it out of the way early. Okay. You know what I mean? If you're going to go down 0-1 against 100 Thieves, might as well just get it out of the way and just focus on whatever you're hoping to accomplish throughout the rest of your game plan. Because, even if you're preparing last night and this morning for this matchup, if you're the coach for XSET, you're trying to get through the game film, trying to see what 100 Thieves likes to do. There's plenty to review there, and definitely there's a lot of nuance to being able to kind of come up with an Icebox strategy that works. But I'm only guessing that they haven't been practicing this map a ton, Doug.
Well, and folks, I have good news for you. So I tweeted we did earlier, and I said, please give me some more Viper. The man straight up said no, right? And I was heartbroken.
Mind games.
The man lied to me. So we are going to get Viper right off the bat. You mentioned Aaron's going to be rocking the Astra. Elsewhere for XSET, Raze, Sova, and then last but certainly not least, as you see, is such a rise to relevancy when it comes to North American compositions. You've got Sage and them and then on the side of 100 Thieves, Steel on the trademark Killjoy, and then speaking of trademark players, and Agent Tico's obviously going to be on the Sova, Nitro on the Omen, Asuna rocking things out on the Raze, and then last but not least, you're also going to have Ethan on the Sage. Thoughts on compositions? The single duelist, does that stand out to you, or anything else like that, Lex?
Well, I think 100 Thieves, just this roster, with the amount of just talent and experience that you've got on these players, I think this kind of one duelist comp, it's going to work for them. And I think the roles have been continuing to solidify on that roster where, Ethan rocking the Battle Sage on most maps now, it's working out for them. Whereas, kind of like as I was highlighting just a moment ago, I worry for the preparation for XSET on this map in particular, but they do have that added X factor of being able to play multiple agents with multiple players. So early on, we're going to get some A pressures coming out here on the attack side of Icebox from 100 Thieves. Doug, take it away.
Yeah, XSET seeming to have a pretty good read on this early on, too, as they have a 4-stack right into where 100 Thieves is pushing in. You see the Viper wall goes up instantly. Asuna pushing in very boldly, which should come as no surprise. And it's actually not him, it's Ethan who gets the first pick onto the board. Asuna continuing to push his way forward, gonna get traded out, but kills are going a flurry as Hiko trades back one of his own. The spike is dropped. Swifo and the rest of XSET look to continue to hold on to control of this site. Hiko's left alone in this situation. He's nowhere near the spike as well. But the thing is, Lex, I don't think they know where he is. But in a 1v3, even if he does manage to walk away with one, his position will be given up very quickly. BCJ gets the third on the round, the last of the remaining members of 100 Thieves, and XSET takes the pistol.
Hey, I mean, if this is going to be their off map, their weak map, maybe you could call it. That's a heck of a way to start, not just winning the pistol, but mobbing it with all 5 players, confidently jumping through some dark cover there, over the Sage wall, brawling it out. BCJ with 3. That's a fantastic start, and the Thieves don't think they're going to force back into this round. They haven't appeared to yet. To bide their time, see if they can get some orbs out of it, work the map a bit.
That feels good. If you're an XSET fan, that's the only real rifle on the side of the defending squad in the hands of Aaron, and he's already making it pay off. Steel getting one as well to trade it out. So far, I mean, given the gun disparity, a bit equal. Good bit of presence defensively from XSET across the middle of the map, and 100 Thieves are going to have to adjust.
Yeah, I mean, this is actually was an excellent start for 100 Thieves, but an unfortunate death for Steel there through the dark cover. And as they work this Long B area, there is, at least for the previous round and this round in here, Weeded has been towards the B site for XSET, and they're opting to just kind of play very passive, allow the plant to come through. Fly damage from a distance. Nitro falls. That's from We Did. Now it's just Austin and Ethan in a 2v4.
Nice.
Post plan scenario. We Did will find Ethan. Austin gets cleaned up by BCJ. And now we got an XSET 2-0 to start, Doug. Nice comfy lead to begin.
A great lead. And then even, you start to think about how XSET have gotten to this point so far. That last round was very defaulty, right? Like they were full spread. In the pistol, they 4-stacked A. That second round was just a full spread. They had players evenly spread out across the map. And they were just kind of waiting to see what they could pick, what they could find. And 100 Thieves, again, they didn't have much as far as guns go, so you certainly limited in what you can produce. But now we're going to see 100 Thieves from what should be a much better situation. I'm curious to see how XSET choose to play this financially. They did have that one Bulldog that looks like it's in the hands of Pura right now, but it's going to be Spectres and a Sheriff in the hands of White.
Yeah, just continuing the bonus. Early barrier orb over here for a...
Oh, no.
Oh.
That would
they fail the boost, and the satchel doesn't quite make it. Hope we get to see that at another point in the game, but 100 Thieves pressure towards mid a bit. I was going to take a control tube. But it looks like the play is coming back towards A. 100 Thieves regrouping just outside of brackets on Steel's position now. And XSET kind of slow to rotate, but 100 Thieves doesn't quite know whether or not there's anyone even home, and there's not. The spike plant due to come in here any moment now.
Well, in a situation like that, like you're seeing 100 Thieves invest a ton of utility to clear out the site. Again, nobody's there. But XSET hasn't had to do the same. Now they're going to have a good bit of utility to try to retake the site that shouldn't, in theory, be able to be matched nearly as well. But that in mind, XSET still doesn't have the gun advantage. 100 Thieves with rifles, you're seeing that pay off. And well, when you've got a Vandal in the hands of Nitro and his ability to produce like that, you understand why. But We Did trying to even things out. As it's still 3v2 in favor of 100 Thieves. Pura has no health left. Asuna good for 2 at the end. The bonus stops right there as 100 Thieves get on the board.
Yeah. And every kill did count there at the end. They were able to collect 2, but you can hope for an unfortunate ending there to that run from XSET. But you know what? Round 4 coming up here. The first full gun round for both teams.
Right there.
And what's interesting to think about, Doug, is as we're on watching attack side for 100 Thieves now, a lot of the strength that I would say I put into a roster like this is their ability to prepare for matches, just the brain power they've got. But if there's no film on XSET, that could be some form of an advantage for them in this matchup. Is
For sure.
100 Thieves must take their time. We saw it there, just clearing out that. Ooh, look at that.
All right, so this counter wall goes up, but keep an eye on that spot right there. Pure is good for another one, and he's going to blast back on top of Tube, looking for more. He actually gets shot right in the back of the head. Unfortunate circumstance, but even with the cheeky spot up on the wall, 100 Thieves absolutely mow XSET apart.
I am so sad that they didn't win that round just by virtue of the fact that that wall is awesome. How have I never seen that? There's a couple different boosts that they've attempted so far in this game, Doug. And I don't know if you got the opportunity to see them play against Envy yesterday, but it seemed like every single round that they were playing in that series, they were doing some kind of crazy Sage boost, whether it was multiple teammates or just himself. I love it. It's the Battle Sage in its purest form.
That's going to put XSET in a less than ideal buy. A couple of Sheriffs, a Marshal,
Taking that back.
and really across the board, not nearly as much bang as they would like as 100 Thieves cheat towards B. It doesn't look like they're taking mid control. They're just going to full send long, it seems.
Yeah, and if XSET can get a kill or two here, they do have Viper's Pit, they do have a Hunter's Fury on board, so you could play to win if you're able to get a pick or two here and prevent the plant. The Thieves battling, jockeying for position over here towards the double stack of sight and yellow. Ethan finds the first onto BCJ. Now it's a 5-on-4.
Yeah, and there's that Hunter's Fury that you mentioned just a moment ago, not going to be in the fold any longer. And hey, the members of XSET are just so weak, too. We talked about gun difference, but also just like their ability to get on that site with such ease, right? And then really flex the advantage that they had. It looked easy.
Yeah, it looked easy and it looked scary for XSET, just considering, all of these gunfights are basically just being taken out in the middle of nowhere. Okay, there's Ethan hugging the side of yellow, so maybe not quite, but this is confident 100 Thieves right here. These guys are not only hitting their shots, but they're doing so with zero respect, and considering they've won 3 straight now, XSET on another bye, looking to perhaps put a stop to the 100 Thieves train that's rolling.
Aaron's the one exception who's got light armor, and he's going to have a ghost, but that's all. And the aggression from XSET seems to be dialed up at just the right time. Ethan trades it out. With Wifo getting in on the action as well. Meanwhile, Weedid's elsewhere on the map. And at this point, 100 Thieves have a choice, right? You're seeing some of the rotate off, but Nitro's so far up. He can really cause problems here for XSET. Well, good for one, good for a second as well. Not able to land the third, but that really opens up the map for them.
Yeah, Nitro just finding the holes, and if you have the freedom to do that as Omen on this map, there are so many threats available to you that you can make use of, and he didn't even need to do anything crazy there with the shadow step. He just walked right up to Grill, found two. Now they know the A site is weak, or at least it was, so Hiko, Ethan, perhaps in the coming moments, dropping that spike. Yeah, there it is, going down.
Now, Wifo's 1 point away from the res. They have a couple of options to him, but it may not be needed at all. As Weedid gets onto Ethan, Hiko alone in a 2v1, but you know that's never a sure thing if you've watched really Hiko at any point in situations like this. Cheeky shock darts to get him off the defuse. Weedid cleans him up. XSET tie us up at 3 apiece. A great response from XSET.
Yeah, and he almost got Thwipo there at the end, down to 8 HP. Both shock darts finding their mark, just didn't quite finish the job. That said, as you said, 3 apiece. XSET answering back in kind, and this really was looking like it should have been a 100 Thieves round after Nitro made that play, but solid retake there, as you mentioned, from Weedid and Thwipo, who, I feel like there's a few other players on this roster that a lot of the time get some of the praise from casters such as myself, but I have been so impressed with Thwipo as of late. Really has been showing out for his team and winning rounds that, oh my goodness, Aaron taking this aggressive operator angle at mid gets punished immediately by Nitro.
Well, and the Cosmic Divide is no longer available as well, while 100 Thieves have a couple of ults of their own, and impactful ones as well to bring into things. But even with that early pick, and it looks like they're going to take some of the middle of the map. They've also worked their way up to 410. There's that lockdown, used at A. Kill trade on the res isn't going to come through as BCJ gets one with the Hunter's Fury. Good for one onto Nitro. Looking for it. No, and he gets the lockdown and the kill onto Steel. That's huge for XSET.
That was the sickest Hunter's Fury I think I've ever seen. Gets 2 kills and the lockdown. Showstopper gets popped by Asuna. Anxious to return the favor. Finds one on the Weedid. Went down to a 3-on-4 now.
The Cosmic Divide. The res was used by Thwipo on Aaron to get the Cosmic Divide back online. And even with that, 100 Thieves managed to get in, get the spike down. Pure using his own showstopper to try to create some space and force members of 100 Thieves back, and you see them have to do it. Now, the one thing is, Hiko does have the Hunter's Fury, and you see him playing off, playing safe. Ethan's going to be the first one to go in, and it doesn't look like he's even going to get a chance to do it. The defuse comes through. With that in his back pocket, the aggression from XSET was just too much.
Yeah, a lot of action going out there, and I wonder whether or not the satchel had kind of disguised the sound of the defuse, because Hiko did not even seem ready once that round ended. But wow, I don't even know. Yeah, just really stellar placement there from BCJ. Maybe got a ping from a teammate, I don't know, but to find the first, a weakened Nitro on top tube, then towards belt found Steel and the lockdown. Really impressive stuff. That's 4 rounds now for XSET. 100 Thieves still in a good financial spot to buy into this round, so haven't quite reached the mark of being reset. And I think for XSET, the only real threats that I haven't been able to handle or respond to thus far have kind of been the mid plays from Nitro. This will be a 4-man push towards long B. 100 Thieves, and Weedid giving that ground a bit, making sure he doesn't get caught out early.
And again, you'll see Steel is going to play back, make sure no one's lurking through. But then they're really just they've made a similar attempt onto B before, and it worked last time. But this time Aaron was waiting there. But the op, he's already good for one. The wall's going to go up. The Hunter's Fury coming out from Hiko. Tagged one, kills one. As Asuna comes back into the fold.
Rez is huge on top. Yellow Asuna taking these long-range duels. Weedid's going to get the better of him. A headshot. Finding the raise. Thwipo pushes in, denies the plant. And there is just 2 players left here for this 100 Thieves attack. But Steel has lurked all the way through
wow.
mid and behind BCJ. And now it's just Pure trapped towards Snowman. Finds one onto Hiko. And it's a 1v1, Doug.
Pure with 70 health left. Steel does have the spike. Perhaps, but doesn't fully commit to it. Pure catches that timing just right for the 3K and the clutch for XSET.
Okay, that's fun to watch. And what's really impressing me now about both these teams is obviously we've seen a few really decisive rounds out of both, but right here, this is just an absolute brawl, and all 5 players from each team getting involved. Steel with this massive lure through mid makes the 1v1 happen, but Pure holding strong, finds 3 on the round, XSET with their 5th.
Now for 100 Thieves, they're going to be bringing an op of their own into the fold. Steel's going to be rocking that. They're going to maybe get some action across the middle of the map while the Viper's Pit is used early on at B. I like that you really, I mean, you're just systematically taking options away from 100 Thieves, right? Like, it's hard to confidently push into the Viper's Pit, even though you see Nitro in there.
He's hunting her, yeah. Mid
While
splits
the rest,
underway.
yeah, they've taken the middle of the map. They just go right under the tube. Weeded answers the call in his own Viper's Pit. Gonna leave that up. Weifel's in a great spot too, right behind Ethan. The spike doesn't go down. It doesn't get planted, excuse me, but it does drop. Asuna looking to trade things out as he takes care of the Wifo. The Viper Pit is still just a problem. As Weeded, no, it looks away at just the wrong time.
Hiko's mouse just get disconnected. 1 HP. He gets healed up. I don't know what just happened. But he's back.
He's back, and I mean, in a 1v3.
He's in a 1v3.
Yeah,
This is honestly,
certainly not
this is his territory, Doug.
Well,
this is where he thrives.
You're right. A 1v3 quickly turns into 1v2 as Aaron is dispatched. But they have a decent idea of where he is. Pure's operator rings just right as he takes care of Hiko. XSET get to 6, a 3-round lead here. And, you know, we saw them invest ultimates early on to try to keep 100 Thieves at bay. And while it looked dicey for a minute, it paid off.
Yeah, and 100 Thieves still able to bind. They probably will be able to continue to do that for a while now. And really, the story of that round, I think, was we did versus Nitro over there in the Viper's Pit at Long B. There was a really, really good play call from 100 Thieves to call that B split, especially when they met no resistance for their underneath tube. Instead, Nitro getting caught out by Weeded, who kind of saves the round in that sense. So 6 rounds for XSET on defense, Doug. This is shaping up to be a much better map for XSET than I could have imagined.
Oh, and it's interesting. Look at how XSET are playing the map right now. They initially stacked 4 heavy on A. And after really a lack of early aggression from 100 Thieves, you saw Weeded pull off. And now they understand that that's where the play's coming from. Pure got one. He got traded out by Hiko. The patience out of BCJ, who, of course, as I say that, he drops. Weeded still on the other side of the map as well, while 100 Thieves seem to still want to hang out by A.
Yeah, just giving themselves some time, some breathing room, make XSET second guess their rotations.
Yeah.
Wifo getting a little bit of early info, but he gets a little bit more than he bargained for with a hot lead haircut from Steel to bring this down to a 2-on-4 now. Weeded making his way over towards the A site. Aaron still over here at bracket. Could cause some problems.
No way, bro.
The rope tricks, man.
Oh, that feels bad. And Steel get onto Weeded too.
That was ridiculous to watch, dude, but that is fun. Steel is feeling it. 6-4 now. XSET still in the lead, but 100 Thieves answering back.
Yeah, and like you when you land shots like that, I mean, like that feels good, right? That feels good. And then even this one, we did have first couple of shots on him, wasn't able to take care of him. 100 Thieves bridging that gap a little bit. They do have the lockdown in mind here as it's online. Hiko and Asunu both 1 point away from their ultimates. While XSET is showing a whole lot more presence up the middle. We haven't seen an aggressive look like this from them.
Wifo finds the first. Hiko answers back onto BCJ. 4's all now. And yeah, that early mid aggression, Doug, pays off big time for XSET. Wifo with a nice entry.
All right, here we go. 100 Fury coming out. Austin is following it as he gets deep in. He's going to use the showstopper as well. It's buy time, right? Oh, Aaron! Aaron swings at it just the right time. And he's going to back out. He's not going to get caught by the lockdown. They don't have a ton to clear it out. I'd try anyway. BCJ, the 100 Fury, no, he's actually, I mean, he's looking for the kills. Yeah, and he's going to get one onto Ethan, looking for another steal with the op. Trying to ensure that nobody works their way into the site. He's going to get a chance at a couple shots here. Oh no, he looked off. Like, if they're going to want to try to take the site, they're going to have to come back very soon. Weeded goes in, gets one, gets a second, and they get the defuse. The thing is, 100 Thieves were in a decent spot, right? I know they didn't have the numbers advantage, but they were in a position where they really could have won that round.
Yeah, and really, I mean, the showstopper gets popped. You think, okay, Austin is going to find at least one here. He doesn't. Yeah,
or
there was a few
time.
different. Yeah, or at least just being in. Look at Aaron, dude. That is just such a confident peak. Yeah. And man, BCJ's 100 Furies, they have just been finding their mark each and every time he's used it. It's probably been 3 or 4 times in this game. And, you know, even if 11 kills on the board for him, even if 4 of those are from the 100 Fury, all of them have been impactful. So,
right.
Impressive stuff from the Sova on the side of XSET. 100 Thieves, though, they still look very strong in this matchup, but the scoreboard quickly tilting the way for XSET, who's making a long B presence with 3 players now, Doug.
Note that it's pure with our operator. Now it was Aaron previously. Now it's in the hands of their star duelist. The Sheriff's working out just fine. But Aaron gets one back.
Wow.
Ethan trades it out. And all of a sudden, XSET are down to scraps, really, as far as personnel goes.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the plan was for that play.
Look at Steel. It's free, bro.
It's free real estate. All the way through A site, push towards defender spawn. They know, okay, we're just going to go back the other direction, dude.
XSET opting to use, or excuse me, Pure opting to use Showstopper on the last round. Might as well see if he can catch a couple of people lurking across. No one's going to be home. Thwyfo has to stay back at B to respect it because they don't fully know where the hit is. Steel knows where Pure is, though, as he drops. Now it's Thwyfo in a 1v5, and
That's just nothing
he
to
gets
do.
cleaned up. Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Wow. You know, I think that's still a really strong half for 100 Thieves, Doug, but XSET coming in strong with 7. Considering how their attack side has usually been their weakness in a lot of the series that we've seen so far this weekend. Do worry for this opening pistol and how important it might be for the side of XSET to gain a foothold in this second half, where normally they don't play this map at all, though.
Oh, and just very quickly realize I miscalled that it was the 100 Fury that destroyed that lockdown. It was actually Pure's nades that cleared it out. But I think that, even with that in mind, there's been so much value that BCJ has gotten out of his 100 Furies that we have to keep a close eye on that. Defensively, 100 Thieves stacking a bit towards A and then a split the rest of the way. Wall's going to go from Ethan. But I like this wall from Weeded as well. They're still going to have to work their way through the early aggression of Asuna. And, well, you've already checked that box.
There's so much concealment over here at the choke point coming into A main. Neither team really knows where each other are, as Thwyfo in the top side of 2 finds one. Here with another, and Hiko answering back with a shock dart and a classic burst, but he falls. Now it's just stealing a 1v3.
Yeah, the dust settles, and no members of 100 Thieves remain on the side. It's just Steel, who is playing elsewhere. Ensuring nothing happened towards B. He's still alive. He's going to get a bead on BCJ. Potentially spotted, I believe it was like, a thread of his cape, and it was just enough to give him away. And that certainly tips things a bit more in his favor, but again, he's still outnumbered. They swing at the perfect time. Thwyfo's Frenzy cleans him up. That's 3 on the pistol for him. XSET win this one as well.
An impressive start, and I highlight the importance of that pistol in particular because I honestly feel like, okay, if you're XSET in this scenario, these are the most comfortable rounds you're going to be able to get this entire half, considering how good 100 Thieves can be, especially here on Icebox. So,
Can someone get
not out of it yet. Certainly have a lot of Valorant left to play potentially on this map alone. And that's unfortunate. That's harkening back to what you were just talking about, Doug. We may have miscalled it, but Dude, BCJ really has been opening things up in incredible ways with that Hunter's Fury, so that is just another thing going right for XSET and wrong for 100 Thieves right now as that Guardian finds its mark on a steal.
Again, as we're talking about him, has a knack for making a big kill happen. And they should get on to B, well, really for free here. I think the question is, how many guns are XSET going to be able to walk away from this round with? They invested a Bulldog. They invested a Guardian. So you see they're not walking into this with nothing or just Spectres. They did take a bit of a gamble. Feeling pretty confident about what they're going to be able to get away with. Wyfo spots one, has to back up. Doesn't get messed up at all. Well, actually, of course, as I say that, it's a nade that deals a considerable amount of damage. And cleans him up. The shock dart coming in from Nico. But it's just delay at this point, right? Like, 100 Thieves, they can't work their way in, and you question whether or not they even really want to at this point. If you know they're locked in towards B, just try to stick them around long enough to maybe get a couple of casualty kills through the spike, but they managed to work their way out. They managed to work their way away.
They get 3 out of it.
Yeah, I mean, a flurry of chaos at the end there. I asked at the beginning of the round how many guns were they going to be able to take into the next round. It was just 2.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. We saw the effects of that in the last half where they played for the bonus, but they had to rebuy a couple pistols. I think it was a Bucky and a Sheriff or 2. And they're going to end up doing the same thing here, obviously, because they want to be able to buy with full rifles into the next round. But, you know, the efficacy, the potential for the round win on the bonus is sometimes game series changing rounds where it really is an extreme advantage to be able to win them. So 100 Thieves, this is a great start with a spam wallbang on a Fury at belt. On to Nitro.
And really between that early kill as Nitro gets a second one, the fact that Ethan put his wall up, really limiting how many options XSET have to get onto the site. You see this become very difficult for XSET, and it just went from difficult to really impossible. A flawless round for 100 Thieves. You see the power, right? The strength with which they're able to approach round when they have full rifles and they understand their advantages, and they play that to perfection.
Yeah, Nitro really playing confidently on the site, but I think you pinpointed the real, you know, the outcome of this round kind of happens because of that wall, just being able to fight at multiple angles over the top of it. You know, on attack, if you got SMGs, if you got Buckies and pistols, and you need to go get a bomb plant somewhere, A is the site to do it more often than not. But they just get penned up and deleted. So now it's 9-6, a very, very manageable margin to deal with for 100 Thieves on this attempt of a comeback on the defensive side here on Icebox. Doug, map 1 in the best of 5 grand finals.
Careful, Dawson. Careful, Dawson. Oh, man. So we hadn't seen an aggressive look like that from 100 Thieves at all, where they worked their way right up towards B. It primarily had just been Steel over there. This time he was on A. They read right into where XSET wanted to go, but they weren't able to net any of the early kills. Now Ethan's getting off board. Now he's able to clean one up, but Pure trades it right back as he goes out. 2 members remaining on the side of 100 Thieves as XSET get back to full strength. XSET looking real nice this round.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not really sure. You know, I was talking through the very, very opening moments of that round, and it really seemed like Asuna was just on a hunch. Like, I don't think they're here. And I walked up, met his maker immediately, and that just, unfortunately for 100 Thieves, put them at a disadvantage that was, you know, despite the beautiful one-tap long range from Snowman towards Yellow from Ethan, didn't quite give his team the advantage enough to come away with their 7th, and now it's XSET instead. Just a few rounds away from potentially claiming the first map here, Doug, and they are looking so scary.
They are, and I think the one thing to address about that round was Asuna. Man, Asuna's just so good in those situations, right? Like, how often do you see him do something like that and walk away with at least 1, maybe 2, potentially even 3? So I understand it. It just didn't pay off. All right, XSET now using the drone to get some early information. We're going to see that wall up a lot out of we did across A. You see Ethan has walled off right around bracket as well, much like we saw a couple of rounds ago. Really limit the options that XSET have at A. Mind you, they're not there at all. They're turning a lot of their attention towards B. Unwise to the fact that there's nobody there.
These 4 players under tube here, which means that they're hot on the rotate for B, but you hear 3 or 4 Vandals spamming you from that location, you know there's got to be max 1 or 2 over at A, and they elect to fall back here, but just watch the mini-map, Doug. All 10 players in the server heading to the same direction, seems like. There will be a brawl at A.
There will be, still being the one exception, and I was going to say with only 25 seconds left, you've got to commit to this site, right? Hero's going to use the showstopper. They're not respecting it, right? They're just tanking it. Asuna just stands there. He gets blasted in the face. Yeah, the kill gets traded out. But again, with such little time left, you understand why they don't respect it as much as they should. Steel and Asuna get a couple of kills on there that are huge for 100 Thieves as XSET don't find their way into A. 100 Thieves take the round.
Really tough spot to be in. I mean, XSET had the information. Okay, we know that there's nobody home here, but you know, as soon as all that spam came through, you kind of realized, wow, we're moving directly into what could be a 4-man stack for 100 Thieves. And so the decision to pull back and kind of retreat back towards A, I don't think it was necessarily an ill-conceived one, but they lost to the foot race straight up. I mean, there was 3 players, you know, 1 screens, 2 backside, ready to basically stop any kind of push. Steel with a really tight angle, almost catches the shoulder of BCJ there, but I mean, that was a maybe a little bit of hesitation that you could nitpick there from XSET, but ultimately just a great set of rotations from 100 Thieves.
Excellent set of rotations, and again, understanding that given how much time was left in the round, you press the matter, right? Like, take the 50s, take the fights, see what you can walk away with, and it pays off for them. We see here XSET on the 18th round, leaning heavily towards B. Once again, Steel, as he has been the majority of the rounds, playing towards B. Good bit of utility. Looks like 100 Thieves here in a few moments are going to have to rotate off to get back towards B. This is very similar to what we saw in the previous round, but far more commitment coming out from XSET. The showstopper from Asuna not going to connect, but the dart may have been enough. No, they're not going to be able to land any of the kills, while Nitro still is back over towards A. This here from BCJ trying to clear out Snowman. Once again, the value that he gets from that ult is absolutely insane. As Asuna drops, but that's the only one that's dropped. Ethan now falls as well. Steel trying to stick with Fuse. He taps. He pulls up, goes in aggressive. Weeded greets him gladly as he gets 3. What a pretty round from XSET. A flawless one at that.
Absolutely. That's fun to watch. Just raw gun duels at range. Weeded finding his mark with 3. But wow, how unfortunate for 100 Thieves. You've got showstopper on Asuna, and he's blind to the fact that this, you know, the barrier orb was up. There was a wall in front of him, so showstopper didn't find anything. Ethan goes over to res him towards Snowman, thinking, okay, there's plenty of concealment here, I'll be fine. Gets deleted through the smoke. Just both ultimates that were on the table there for 100 Thieves getting taken away very quickly, and the Hunter's Fury, in contrast, paying dividends for XSET. And moving into here, you've got a Viper's Pit available to you on the side of XSET, which isn't necessarily the most useful thing to find entry into a site, especially when you've got a lockdown with Steel. Really is kind of the counter to it. Opting to take this round very slowly, just see if they get any sort of aggression at mid or B from the side of 100 Thieves, but no need to rush into anything yet.
Oh, Ethan continuing to put up that delayed wall around bracket at A. While Nitro hangs out with them. Sure, there's no one coming up that way, but again, like X said, it was, as we've seen the last couple of rounds, they've been able to find decent success on this side of the map, so why not hit it again?
Yeah, and early paint shells coming out into nowhere, and I think that maybe is why they're able to exploit this, is just a few miscues from 100 Thieves, and there's the mark that we were looking for Asuna to find. Drops the wall, finds one under the white folk, despite does get dropped. And so this once very promising push from XSET towards B is going to be pushed back by the lockdown into the waiting arms of Nitro, is pushed through A main all the way towards defender spawn, finds the first headshot. He's joined in a crossfire by Ethan, who finds 1, make it 2, and it's just weeded in a 1v5, Doug. And he's even locked down, man. He gets wiped out.
So the strength with which XSET hit in the last round was just countered by 100 Thieves, and you even break down, like, they've played on that spot, that plant spot behind the wall a couple of times now, so they were 100 Thieves were fully prepared for it. Then the lockdown comes out. Ethan and Nitro both are able to position themselves, understanding, look, you have 20 seconds left. This lockdown's coming out. You're going to have to rotate off, and they just played the map so well.
Yeah, and that lockdown, you almost wonder whether or not there was no hope for them winning that round with that on the table. But moving into round 20 now, Steel taking this off angle again, and he gets the information that a few players have just swung out, able to cede all this ground, all this territory. Cosmic Divide finally comes through.
Cosmic Divide and the Viper's Wall is up as well. Once again, a heavy commitment towards B. The wall's in the exact same spot. Here's the Viper's Pit, though. That's an interesting wrinkle onto things as Steel drops early on. Viper's still looking to try to get the spike down as they play around the goo.
Spike down, B.
Lifo drops. And like 100Thieves players, they're just kind of guessing. They have to go in aggressive, right? They have to work their way in, and that's such a big kill. That's going to drop things, but Pure, good for 3. Nitro trades it back out. Aaron left alone in a 1v2. Spots 1. The spike is still not down. He does have time, and he's got a 1v1, but it's against Hiko. No utility. Well, Aaron does have a good bit to work with, but Hiko clutches it out again.
Wow. And you know what? This round and the round prior, Doug, 2 things have happened. And the first is Asuna's staying alive on site, and the second is he's dropping the spike carrier every time. Fuefo, you know, thinking he's safe behind his barrier or thinking he's safe in the Viper's Pit. Asuna has sniffed him out time after time, Doug. I did it again, man.
Oh, you caught it.
Production's gonna murder me during the break. It's okay though. Just an impressive adjustment, right? Just to make sure that, okay, XSET isn't just gonna get a free spike plan here. We're gonna delay them as long as possible for the rotations, and suddenly those gunfights, you know, which were favoring XSET so hard in earlier rounds, where you know, they're able to take those ranged duels with no crossfire support on the defender's side, and instead, the teammates are finally able to show up. They're able to make the crossfires happen, and 100Thieves are back in this game at 11-9.
They are, and they're also trying to work their way right into XSET's front pocket as you see some heavy aggression from Ethan as he pushes his way forward right into the stack. And look at how much space Asuna has taken away. He's worked his way all up the middle, ensuring that if they don't make their way into A and they try to rotate out, Asuna is going to be there waiting for them. So they really don't have very many options here. XSET doesn't. Also worth noting, Aaron's on a light gun, BCJ's on a light gun as well, but they're going to have to work their way in. The flank is still left unchecked. Keep an eye on Asuna on your mini-map, folks. He can blow this thing up if there are even any members, that remain by the time he gets there. But Ethan and Hiko are doing janitor duty just fine as they clean up the members of XSET. Beautifully well played by 100Thieves again.
Yeah, just a lot of map control being given by XSET. 100Thieves not even really electing to kind of respect whatever defaults have been thrown out from XSET at this point. Just pushing for info, and it may have burned Austin once or twice, but like you said, just giving his team all the info in the world. And now, you know, considering the financial situation, not only in the prior round, but in this round coming up, Doug, situation financially for XSET is not quite, you know, abysmal, but it's pretty bad. You got a couple Spectres, you got 1 Vandal, and at 11-10, you know, this is maybe the last round that you want to save in the half, so
ahead.
See what they can do with it.
Heavy middle presence for XSET. They've worked their way up. Asuna's waiting on the other side, but it's the Frenzy that takes him out. Pure, you presume, is going to update a weapon here, as we did. He's able to get one as well. Rez is going to come through, and that's big. As Pure drops, Nitro looking for a second. Landed. There's Steel's op, man. They do have the numbers advantage. XSET does. The lead is weak. Aaron doesn't have any armor. What they do have is positioning is... I mean, they're doing this thing. Weeded should be able to get the spike down. Hiko has some utility. He's in a 1v3. Spots 1. Doesn't even get a chance to fire it off as Twifo takes care of him. You mentioned financially how they were in less than desirable position. Working their way into this round, and they handle it just fine.
I mean, it was enough, right? They basically take kitchen control and they pinch onto the B players. Steel was on an island throughout the most of that. And then Nitro, who thinks his back has been completely covered by his teammate, gets flanked from the long B lurk from BCJ, finding a long-range sheriff kill. And that is just tenacious attack and teamwork coming out from XSET to claim their 12th. This is map 1 point. As 100 Thieves, who just a moment ago seemed to be in full control of this half, have let things slip once more for potentially disastrous finish to map 1 for them, but a fantastic and impressive one from XSET.
It's been very good, but you know, in situations like this, 100 Thieves are far from out of this fight. As XSET work their way up belong, looking to get the ult into the hands of BCJ. So now that 100 Fury is online, Aaron's also very close to having his.
Concealment.
May be able to land it. Just one with that operator. Now, the thing about 100 Thieves here is, you mentioned in the previous round, Steel has oftentimes been on an island here, but he's got some backup this time around.
Yeah, they haven't actually pushed up towards A or mid at that point, so a lot of the information is just coming from this B side of the map. And BCJ, who's just batting 1,000 with his Hunter's Fury today.
All right, here we go. Showstopper coming out from Asuna, going to destroy Waifu as it looked like he was trying to get the spike down, not able to. Steel getting one onto BCJ as well. Aaron's got the Cosmic Divide now, but he's even going to get a chance to set it off as Pure just narrowly dodges death. Pure in a 1v2. A brutal 1v2 as well. Should be able to pick up the spike. He doesn't have time to rotate elsewhere on the map. Got a decent idea of where one player is now. He knows where they both are. No way. Pure good for one. Pure looking for the second, and Ethan clutches out the 1v1 that easily could have gone the either way.
Oh my goodness. And the
he almost did that.
I guarantee you, he had 10 more seconds left on that clock, Doug. He's got some time to pull out some utility. He had all of his raise kit available to him. Really, really NT right there. Mine's the head of Nitro, who thought maybe he'd be able to silence the deal early. Ethan with a beautiful headshot, though. Got the last word in.
And you know, you highlighted Ethan at the beginning of the series, right? As someone who's been the most recent addition to this team and the transition across games and how quickly is he going to be able to adapt? Because as we know, the expectation at 100 Thieves is not qualifying, right? It's not top 4. The pedigree, the program that they've built has championships in its DNA.
Yeah, and as mechanically talented as the entire 100 Thieves roster is, Ethan, who was an absolute monster in CSGO, making his transition to Valorant somewhat recently now. It's been a minute. But he has, I can't understate just how impressive he is as a player, but every time we see him, he's better. And I mean that in the purest form. I mean, you can measure it statistically. This guy is just really coming into his own in Valorant. Now at a 12-11, this is very important for his squad.
It is, and for XSET, 2 players not going to have rifles. They opt to go for the armor. The 100 Fury coming up from Hiko. Oh, no. Oh, gosh, he gets one. Asuna gets one as well, as it looks like overtime is almost a certainty here. 2 members remain. One, they do it in flawless fashion. Lex, it wasn't a brawl. It wasn't like a fight. They just rolled over him.
Yeah, and Steel looking rock solid on the operator, handling the ultimate answer of, oh, we'll push under tube now. We'll make the split happen a little bit quicker than we had hoped for. I believe these beautiful shots coming out to end the round there, but Hiko really starting things off with a gorgeous Hunter's Fury, which, I mean, we've been highlighting BCJ as just his ability to make things happen with that on the side of XSET. Well, Hiko answering in kind with probably one of the more impactful ultimates that we've seen in the game so far.
Dueling Hunter series have been a ton of fun to watch between Hiko and BCJ, but that sets us out to overtime. 100 Thieves going to take the first crack on the attack side of the map as they lean heavy towards A. Nitro looking to work the middle of the map a bit, see what he can find. It's very similar to what we saw from XSET defensively for really the majority of that half.
A duel at middle. BCJ finding his mark on a Nitro, who was attempting to get towards tube. And that mid lurk, who he has been a nuisance all through this game on an attack side for 100 Thieves. But Pure over here is going to face the brunt of an A push from 100 Thieves as a lot of territory gets given, but they leave Pure behind, who gets wrapped on by Ethan. So now it's just a 3v3 in the retake, Doug. sure to come in any moment now.
100 Thieves have managed to take the site, and they aren't committing to getting the spike down yet. They want to get a couple more kills. They want to get a little bit more room before they put themselves in that situation. We did taking care of Hiko, drops things down to a 2v2. And again, the patience from 100 Thieves in this situation. BCJ spotted one.
One enemy remaining.
And now they know where the last player is, as we did. Saw just enough from Steel to certainly hurt.
30 seconds left.
Steel in a 1v2. Spike's right in front of him, just out of his reach. Unwise to the fact that BCJ is right there. So now BCJ spotted that. He knows where Steel is. And with 15 seconds left, he's not gonna have time. No, he wasn't looking at all. Steel gets things down to a 1v1, and he's gonna use the lockdown. Weedit's gotta go huge here. Spike goes down. And Weedit answers it. He does it. He goes just as huge as the team needs him to help win that first overtime round.
Some beautiful patience there from Weedit. Not trying to get overexcited or push the plant. Waiting to see what Steel does. Steel chooses incorrectly. That's a tough spot. And actually, I think BCJ was looking the wrong direction. And I wonder whether or not it was his teammates, if it was Weedit's Viper wall going up. He was just like, oh, shoot. He could come from either direction, and then it goes down again. Just diverts his attention for a moment as he steps out. And Steel so close to making that a reality. Round win for 100 Thieves. Instead, XSET, who defensively, I mean, they looked really good through, you know, it was 7-5 first half, Doug. And considering we're in overtime now, I imagine that both teams throughout both their sides will make a little bit of adjustments. Or maybe not, as Steel is taking that same gunfight we've seen all game long.
Yeah, I do think I want to draw attention to the fact, thank you, Aaron bought an op this round. Again, which would mean he has no armor. Got some utility. But again, highly valuing the investment of that weapon on the attacking side is not something you see super common.
They must have a read, you know, at some point, someone's going to peek under tube, and we're going to find the frag. Actually, he just moved back towards A, so it's now left up to Weedit to lurk mid here. And as XSET is almost certain to end A.
Oh, he'll get a chance. He's pushing through the smoke. Steel is, and he gets the gunfight win onto Weedit. Nitro's still at the site. The paranoia is going to come out, and the dart was there at least. The spike goes down, but Dwifo somehow manages to stay alive. He eventually drops at the hands of Nitro, but he's going to get tagged up as well. Members of XSET continuing to drop like flies, as Aaron and Pure are the last two that remain in a 2v5. Nitro can very confidently just look to stick the defuse without really any hesitation. Full confidence that his team has his back, and we're going another overtime round.
Beautiful play from 100 Thieves, and honestly, maybe a few missed cues there from XSET. We saw the Dwifo not quite realizing that he was being hunted by Nitro on site, but you know, beautiful adjustment there from Steel. It looked like Weedit was going to get a free kill, but I don't think he was ready for it. And you know, 100 Thieves, when things are working for them, it's just so impressive to watch. Moving as a unit on the retake, diffusing before all 5 players have been eliminated. It's just knowing that your teammates have you covered. And frequently we are given the opportunity to kind of see just how talented these players are individually. And right there, a duel from Steel again. He's coming up huge for his team in OT.
100 Thieves pressing the matter towards A on the attack side. The wall went up from Dwifo, and it looks like they want to stick it anyways. Asuna works his way forward. The wall goes down. They find Dwifo waiting on the other side. A much better gift than what would have been the other way around. Aaron getting paranoid up as Hiko gets in on the action as well. Steel looking for a second, and Lex, this is, I mean, this is dominant out of 100 Thieves.
It's dominant, but it's coming off the back of some miscues that I just spoke of. Just getting caught out of position. So tragic to see, as 100 Thieves is not going to let you make those mistakes. And Weedit is looking cracked right now. It won't matter. Nitro finishes it off, but 100 Thieves, who have really just kind of consistently looked good throughout this game, despite XSET's brilliance. And it seems as though the bag may have just been fumbled here in OT. 2 rounds in a row for XSET, where teammates just not quite ready for the combat that's about to unfold in front of them. And it doesn't necessarily look like they look lost, but when you're catching a paranoia, you're getting scanned by a recon dart, and you're that far pushed up, it's gonna be a bad time.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, 100 Thieves now looking to win this game.
First overtime round, we saw XSET be the ones to jump ahead. 100 Thieves responded. Now it's on XSET. The onus is on them to do the same thing. As they cheat towards B, they were able to push back Steel with the drone. Tag him up. Viper's wall goes up as well. Now this is, I mean, this is rinse and repeat, right? From what we saw out of XSET on the attacking side. They can get in, they feel comfortable, they feel confident in the wall going up and them trying to plant behind it, but this might be just a bit of like draw out utility, see if you can get a couple of picks. But the thing is, you have no idea what's happening across the middle of the map, so you can't confidently pull back.
And stopping this plant is going to be priority number one for Steel here on top of this double stack, but he finds the first on a we did. With the wall already down, one player off the table who possesses.
They're stuck, bro. They're gonna have to fight their way through it. Dwifo's already good for 2. Aaron's left alone. They're just blind firing into the smokes. They know where he is. He's got 1 armor, 76 health. And while they may know where he is, he has no idea at all as he go. Really 100 Thieves across the board.
On attack side have been, you know, set plays, gimmicks, executes, whatever you want to describe them as. And Icebox there was a break from that, where, you know, they're finding several gun rounds throughout a half. They're forcing the spike to be planted every time. And that's probably what a team like XSET needs to do on any map, right? It's just be able to complete the objectives, of course. But against 100 Thieves, I got to think you're not going to necessarily be able to just win and outsmart all of these players just by the, you know, fact that you're talented players. You're not going to outshoot 100 Thieves, you know, in grand finals throughout a best of 5 consistently. You got to expect that strategy, whatever game plan you've come up with coming into today, if you've found something that works, drive it home until it doesn't. And I think that's why that map 1 was so close. But here for Ascent, I mean, to me, Doug, this is probably Asuna's playground. This is probably one of his better maps. He's a guy who can kind of find holes on the defensive side for XSET and maybe even on the attack side, you know, defensively being able to flank early, push through B main. There's a lot that I think we're going to be able to unpack in the post game for Ascent. But, you know, Doug, what do you think about 100 Thieves being the favorites here? I mean, is this a potential map where XSET is even going to be competitive?
I think XSET have shown that they can do it, right? Like we saw it on Icebox. But the one thing that is maybe alarming, or one thing to keep in mind, is that historically for 100 Thieves, at least through this tournament, they've been very good on Ascent, right? Bring a 2-1 record into this match. Their 2 wins have been big. 13-6 against Cloud9 Blue, 13-7 against Sandbox, and the one that they did drop went the distance, right? It was against Envy. They lost 12-14, but they looked good there too, and it was Envy who was able to narrowly walk away with that win. So 100 Thieves are good on this map. You mentioned Asuna and the value that he's able to provide on the Phoenix with the run it back and the pressure he's able to apply. That's difficult, but I think the one thing that I know I mentioned this earlier, but what potentially scares me or is a problem for 100 Thieves is the aggression with which they play. And it's not just like raw aggression, right? Where they're just blindly running at them, but they know when to press, they know where to press to make it hurt as much as possible, and we saw that on Icebox.
Right. Speaking of Phoenix, you know, yesterday against Envy, I believe he did bring the Viper out on this map, but we did, you know, have been playing Phoenix here on Ascent for, you know, a few matches for XSET, reverting back to his old ways. We're going to get 2 Viper games in a row, Doug, as B main immediately gets contact. Slorb coming out from Dwifo to stop that early push at B from 100 Thieves, but check the mini-map. It's not going to be a B execute straight up.
No, it's not. Shock Dart certainly hurting Asuna as he's going to heal up and get the orb. We're going to see a whole lot of presence, a whole lot of importance placed on that ultimate. Man, that hurts. Oh, that hurts on a period. The dink there doesn't feel good. Down to 22 health. Weedid's in a good spot here. Sniper slowly creeps forward. Weedid swings at the right time. Good for 1. Tries to buy some time, and there was no help. There was no cover. Hiko's just able to swing and challenge and trade that kill out. They're going to be able to work their way towards A.
Those paint shells actually do a good deal of damage to both Ethan and Steel. who unwittingly were sprinting towards what potentially could have been another kill there for XSET. Pure does get a heal from his Sage teammate, so despite the fact that he was dropped low early on, he'll be able to recover and recuperate somewhat. 35 seconds left on the clock, and 100 Thieves have regrouped towards Catwalk and are making their way back towards A, Doug.
There are a couple of members of XSET waiting, but you saw even then, 100 Thieves took A long just to get another ult orb into the hands of Asuna. Again, really highlighting the importance, the value that they place on that ultimate, but now they're worked their way on A with 15 seconds left. Asuna kind of dancing around the site. Good nano swarm to delay things as the spike goes down. Now XSET looking to see what they can do for a retake. A great wall. As Ethan's in a really good spot again, just to delay, right? Like, make him think twice about it, not give any easy entrance onto the site, but XSET are running out of time. They're going to have to go, and they're going to have to go here soon. A couple of kills traded early on.
Player standing.
There's just one left. Again, it's Aaron. We've seen him in situations like this a couple of times where he's looking. He has no idea where the remaining members of 100 Thieves are. Steel's able to clean him up. Hiko got in on the action as well. 100 Thieves win the first pistol of the series.
Just so much post-plant utility there available for 100 Thieves. You have nano swarms being layered at heaven. You've got the barrier orb in front of the door, and that at least is gonna, it's not only just another layer that they have to shoot through, but the angles get so much more severe, and you've got a vertical one to deal with as well on top of the wall. That was BCJ finding one, but it's tough to be in that spot and want to retake all your teammates through one spot when all that utility's still left. And pays off for 100 Thieves, who 2 players remaining did claim that first pistol. And early on, we see We Did over here towards A, perhaps speaking with this Bucky at A main, which all weekend we've seen, you know, obviously teams playing with the Buckies in both A main and B main aggressively trying to find the opening pick for their teams. And I feel like more often than not, especially on Ascent, you know, the defenders are able to find that. So be a test for We Did perhaps at another time, as 100 Thieves are electing to regroup, perhaps more likely move back towards B.
Now, in normal situations like this, you expect the team that wins the pistol to be able to really dispose of the opposing team with relative ease, but it is worth noting XSET did force. You highlighted the Bucky in the hands of Weeded. Dwifel has one as well, and 3 Spectres the rest of the way. So XSET really looking, they're gambling, right? It's a gamble. Let's call it what it is, but they're really looking to mess up the economy of 100 Thieves if they can make something happen. Ethan with a cheeky wall spot. Good for one on BCJ, and the second one as well. And you're seeing that investment not quite pay off. Yeah, Aaron got one, but 100 Thieves are still in such a strong position where Dwifel has to make some magic happen, and he's gonna get a chance. Good for one. Swings around, there's no one else home. Nitro's in a good spot where he can really play spoiler. We did get gets tagged up, he has to back off, and he's gonna get paranoid as well. Can't really, they've gotta deal with Nitro, right? Like, you can't ignore him. We did was in a brutal spot there. He gets cleaned up. Dwifel Spectre is the last thing that stands for XSET.
Nitro finds that. Dwifel falls. And harkening back to Icebox for just a moment, Doug. On the opening attack side for 100 Thieves, we must have seen probably in the ballpark of 5 frags or so that were consistently being added to the board for 100 Thieves by the side of you know, by virtue of the fact that that lurk is just so potent. Right. Nitro's so wise in his steps, making sure that his timing is correct when he's ready to actually strike. And it's not an empty lurk. It's not as though those kills are just, you know, coming the way and they're easy or whatever, because the more often than not, it's coming on retakes, right? Like the lurks are coming through, backstabbing and pinching on teams, caught unawares, and Seal is just armed with a ghost, catching a lot of that tiles and B main aggression. All of XSET has pushed up at some point in this round somewhere, and now quick reaction from 100 Thieves to move towards A. To get a free site plant. Austin finds Dwifel.
Does absolute chaos in the opening moments of the round, and that's what nets 100 Thieves enough real estate to get the spike down. And remember, folks, because of the force that XSET had in the previous round, they don't bring a lot into this one. A Sheriff, a Ghost is all that remains in the hands of Weeded, and Aaron. Weeded drops. Aaron again, alone. He landed a nice shot onto Steel, but Steel's Ghost was just enough to clean things up. I like what we saw out of Exit there, right? Like understanding you're in a pistol, just full send, right? Cause chaos. See if you can emerge from the madness in an advantageous position. And unfortunately for them, 100 Thieves read the map perfectly. They worked their way towards A, and they had full control. And then from that point on, it was just very difficult for XSET to get much going.
Yeah, just a quick ABC protocol, knowing that they're getting pushed that hard over at B. 100 Thieves immediately sprints through and clears A main. Just an excellent reaction from 100 Thieves. And I think, you know, moving into this first gun round, Doug, I won't say that there's a whole lot that we can read into from it, but 100 Thieves are sure looking crisp, and XSET, perhaps after losing map 1, losing pistol, being down 3-0, early run it back up market past Pizza for Asuna. Catching a quick Vandal shot from BCJ to end it. Finding one more on the steal. A second one. Never trades it out, but now it's a 4-on-3. So make it a 3-on-3. Finding a second on the We Did.
He gets the spike, and he's going to from the shadows back into the back of the site. Aaron drops as well. They're going to have full access onto B. They should be able to get the spike down. Nitro does. Pure and Thwifo looking to retake the site. Grenades come through and hurts. Right, it's just enough to reposition and get the kill, but Ethan trades it back out. Ethan, Thwifo in a 1v1. Thwifo swings. It was Ethan who's trying to get the jump on it, but Thwifo's the one who walks away from that victorious to get XSET the first round of the map.
The pull-out animation just a bit too slow. What a nade from Pure there. I mean, it was a 2-on-2, and you were basically facing a fully healed Nitro planting a spike in the back site, and paint shells just rain from above. And that's a very important round for XSET, getting their first on the board. And, I mean, they've done a decent job, Doug, of managing and mitigating the strength of the bank account on 100 Thieves. That they've gotten on these ego rounds, you know, usually 2 or 3 kills, seems like. So, moving into round 5, you have the potential, not necessarily to fully reset, but I can watch this all day, We Did. I can watch it all day, man. Play more Viper. But anyway, 100 Thieves, this isn't a great, you know, outlook. It was really looking like they had a few rounds to work with financially, and they're going to want to win this one now. Early blaze ball from Asuna A main, and the Hunter's Fury to back it up and create some space. He does find a tag, make it 2 in a frag on a Pure. He falls to Hiko's Hunter Fury.
Cosmic Divide comes through as well as you see members of XSET start to rotate towards A. Spike hasn't fully committed. Now they're creeping their way forward. Big kill. As We Did drops, there's no additional pressure coming from Heaven right now, as BCJ just has to, like, slowly and carefully creep his way forward. Spots one. Onto Hiko and gets tagged up. He has to step back. Now, he does have his own Hunter's Fury. And you see they're just all funneling in from the same spot, right? That makes it so much more difficult to get onto the site. Again, 100 Thieves very confident in taking control of the site before they get the spike down, get everything that they want, ensure that they have full control of where they want to be, and XSET cannot find a way in. You see Thwifo and Aaron both going for the fences, trying to save those rifles into the next round as 100 Thieves look to get another one. A 5-2 as far as personnel goes. 4-1 here for them in just a few moments. 100 Thieves, they look good, Lex.
I love that reaction from 100 Thieves. I'm not quite sure. They know at least that, you know, you've got a soft hold coming in from a Viper most rounds at A main. So you do have to wait out the first snake bite, but, you know, the Hunter's Fury doesn't really... kind of bypasses all of that, and so a quick unfolding of some utility as Aaron's getting hunted back in Boathouse. Thwifo will be the first. He actually does get some consolation frags for his troubles. And hey, listen, I was talking about the big bank account that 100 Thieves had built up suddenly was being whittled away at, right? So if they had left all 5 players alive for 100 Thieves, you know, they could be buying for the next 2 rounds seemingly without effort, and now those 3 kills may actually be more important than it seemed, as their bank account is being moderated, I think, sufficiently, just making sure that they're not able to run away with things. But they are up 4-1 now. 100 Thieves is looking good.
Early Viper usage on B, and a Bucky waiting on the other side.
Got the lockdown, though. It's going to be tough.
We saw it was actually Asuna who felt so confident in just pushing into the Viper's pit on Icebox. Get everything he wanted. There's the lockdown that you mentioned. Now, BCJ does have a Hunter's Fury. It looks like they're just going to choose to wait it out, not cancel it. Step out of Viper's pit, and they work their way forward. Oh. Yeah, they're getting tagged up. Aaron gets good for one. We Did works his way back, and he's going to drop, not even getting a chance. Never spotted. One, the paranoia coming out from Nitro. Steel joins the fold again. And through all of that, 100 Thieves still haven't made their way onto the site. Aaron's in a great spot for one, but it's Pure, actually, who cleans him up. Ethan swings out and gets one as well. Now 100 Thieves have a bit more room to work with. They have some breathing room, and man, they mow XSET down.
All right, you call a timeout right here, and I want to hear the argument that is sure to be ensuing as Pure drops a nade directly onto Aaron's head. I'm almost certain that's just what happened. Aaron almost had the lineup for multiple kills, had to move and swing out of position to avoid it. Tragic stuff. Pure was caught behind like 3 different sets of obscuration. There was no way he could see where his teammate was. Unfortunate stuff there, because it did seem as though 100 Thieves was walking directly into, you know, a crossfire from hell, just 3 players awaiting them to come out. Instead, they're going to claim their 5th, and this is, I mean, said they looked good last round, Doug, but they're looking near flawless in their execution onto the sites here.
Now, it is worth noting, Aaron was the only one who had a rifle in that last round. So financially, yeah, they invested the Viper's Pit, but that was really all they invested.
They drew a lockdown out of it, too.
They did, yeah. Absolutely right. Asuna. Oh, my. Asuna gets one draw, and all their ultimates used as well. The showstopper, and that doesn't net a ton either. So you see 2 ultimates really invested for very little there.
Question now is, what kind of information is available to XSET? Is loudly 100 Thieves is showing that they're rotating back towards A. Hey, we're going over here now. They're resetting back towards the Bravo site, it would seem. Asuna throwing the misdirection, giving it a little bit of juice, but on the receiving end of that was, I believe that's Aaron on the other side of that wall. He knows nobody's coming A.
Right.
30 seconds left.
Right, and you even saw members of XSET start to creep towards A. But then they pull back. You still have Pure, who's on the site. BCJ's in a great spot. He's going to get smoked off. His LIFO drops as well. BCJ having to use the Hunter's Fury. And nobody really able to push him aggressively here. BCJ, good for one. Nitro managed to take the middle of the map as he once again finds himself behind Weeded. Hiko looking to get the plant down. He's going to have to do it very quickly as Weeded gets a big kill. Again, still having to respect where Nitro is. Sniffs it out, is able to land it. A 2v2 here as Weeded just down to 59 health. Gonna have to play this very carefully. Nice thing is they do have some time to use some of Aaron's utility as they creep forward. You see them both pushing in from opposite sides as they look to see how they get in here. Running out of time. There's no more time really. Ethan already drops and Hiko drops as well. XSET, they were careful, they were methodical, they were diligent, and it pays off.
Wow, and honestly, we did the hero of this retake. Finally, you know, 2 maps in, somebody has put a stop to Nitro's shenanigans in the mid lurk. I mean, the worst part about it, if you're XSET, is not only is he finding his mark and he's finding the frags, but even when he's not, he's just a constant threat. There's no way you can just ignore it. You can't just discount it entirely. It's the back in the, or it's the knife in the back that is just eternally looming over you.
Right.
And they grabbed their second, a costly 2nd round win, so just a Spectre on Thwifo seems like, but you know, a much needed round win is face the potential of max money 100 Thieves across the board, potentially losing the half. Now they're very much back in it now.
Making a good bit of noise towards B, using that drone early on as well, but you see the spike is waiting back. I mean, back in their spawn. On A side, waiting to see if anyone's going to push through from XSET to aggressively take a bit of space away or try to. Ethan once again getting up top. You saw Nitro use it from the shadows to get back onto the back of B. The Cosmic Divide's going to come out as well, and we did. But Weeded's got to be careful on the timing because he goes just on the other side as well. Weeded is able to take care of one, and he gets dropped almost instantly. But that's going to be enough information for them to get the spike and really book it. But again, look at where Aaron is. Aaron's in a spot where you can't rotate out through tree if you want to go back towards the middle of the map, where you think some of that is safe because of where Ethan is. They have to stick to A here. They're stuck.
This is so awkward.
Asuna not able to get the spike down. Thought about it. Meanwhile, Nitro dies on the other side of the map. You remember he used that from the shadows early on. He drops as chaos continues to ensue on A, certainly going in favor of XSET as they have the numbers advantage. 2 members remaining for 100 Thieves. And they're certainly not healthy. Asuna weak, Hiko dead. 4v1. Defense of the Alamo type stuff here, and it's not going to pan out. As he drops, BCJ takes care of him. XSET get the defuse as they get to 3. And Lex, was it a little too fancy? I mean, what went wrong there?
I think they didn't expect from the side of XSET to just kind of like have 100 Thieves everywhere on the map at once, and it like the rotations were very messy at first. Like it was a very convoluted response to what was going on. But I think Thwifo really was the key piece, just making sure like, hey, Nitro definitely just, you know, from the shadows into the back of boat. Like I need to stay here, and not knowing where the rest of the side of 100 Thieves was, it just seemed as though XSET accidentally found themselves in a perfect read where not a lot they could do. Nitro was basically stuck. Had to walk into the crosshair of Thwifo, who was the only underfunded player in that round holding a Spectre. So,
uh-oh. You hear that? They should hear that. Yep. Nitro gets cleaned up. They don't have great weapons. Excuse me, they do have rifles across the board. Here we go. Asuna using the run it back to create some space across tree. XSET patiently waiting it out, wanting to push through or give any early kills away. They handle that fine. But there's certainly more where that came from as Asuna continues to follow up. Hiko using Hunter's Fury, not going to tag anything up. But the spike does go down. Asuna's still trying to play like interference, right? Play defender, not let anyone in from tree. As Steel looks to do the same up in heaven. Ethan's getting in on the action as well. It's a difficult site to retake in a position like this, but Aaron looking to do what he can. BCJ trying to as well. As he gets things down to a 1v1, he's only got 10 health left though.
Ooh.
And Steel comes up huge with the Guardian.
Huge kills with the Guardian there, and wow, that was a very close clutch attempt from BCJ, and it was a much needed one. Their money is still in shambles. And on the other side of things, 100 Thieves, who were strapped a bit in the previous round, have basically put themselves in a position to not only win the half, but do so with full weaponry. Actually, as I'm saying that, you don't really have anything on the side of... Well, I guess you're one off of having Hunter's Fury if you can somehow get control of the main, but you know, the Viper's Pit for We Did has not panned out so far in this series, really. Ethan winning the opening duel.
Yeah, a couple of early kills being traded off, and you mentioned the Viper's Pit last time we saw it. It was in a weird lighter buy, and they just aggressively used it early on to negate some of that space, but here we see 100 Thieves looking to push in aggressively themselves. Ball's going to go up. Bucky on the other side goes just a bit wide as Asuna punishes that. Yeah, Pure trades it out. But now 100 Thieves are in a position where tied up 3-3 here. They drew a bit of utility out on A. They made a ton of noise. They can reset the map because Nitro, once again, is being a nuisance.
BCJ staying home, and this is brilliant. But look at this angle from Nitro. He's not aware of it, yet he gets the headshot, finds one. Steel cleans it up. Now it's a 2-1-2. That's the Hunter's Fury out of play. And now it's Pure and Thwifo to retake against Steel and Hiko at B.
And not just Steel and Hiko, but the lockdown as well. Hiko getting the spike down.
You should run.
And there's utility as well. There we see that lockdown coming out early on, just buying time, right? You have to respect it, so you just delays to where the only time you really have access to get back into the site is when there are only a few seconds left, and you have to play aggressively. You have to play quickly. And here we go. Pure and Thwifo slowly working their way forward. Again, there's Killjoy utility waiting for them. There's a turret, a nano swarm, an alarm bot, everything. And then if that's not enough, it steals Vandal. It takes care of Pure. Thwifo looking to be a hero for XSET. You got 3 different things shooting at him at one time. He doesn't get a chance to really get much of anything off. As Steel gets 3, 100 Thieves gets 7 as they continue to pile it onto XSET.
Yeah, nice round there from Steel. Basically putting his team in a position to run away with the half now. Attempting the heroics, and the truth is, unless he's able to kill all 3 of those players with his rifle, I mean, he had the utility, he had the Hunter's Fury available to him, but you know, when you're over there towards Switch, there's just not a whole lot of opportunity to use any of that. So 7-3 now, 100 Thieves in a commanding fashion, winning already the round advantage for the first half. Potentially looking to close things out with an 8 or 9 round scoreline because, I mean, XSET, who I've touched on 3 or 4 rounds in a row now, Doug, about how dangerously close they've come to a financial ruin. They're back on 3 Buckies, a Sheriff, and a Spectre.
Yeah.
That can't feel good.
Oh, and you wonder... it's just hard from a financial perspective. How much longer can you find yourself in this less than ideal position? And look, like, XSET... So they put up that Viper's Pit, early on to delay and at least deny information in A and across the middle of the map as well, but they just feel so confident working their way through. Nitro pushes his way forward. Here they go towards B. Couple Buckies waiting on the other side, and yeah, they're going to get info from that start, but here they go. Asana's wall goes up. He's able to work his way across safely. Potentially looking to get his way behind the wall. He does just that as he takes care of Weeded. Takes care of Thwifo as well. Looking for more. Drops Pure 3. Aaron alone. Eco's going to get the spike down. He has a Spectre. And he's able to clean up Asana.
What a round from Asana. Just creating so much space through the site.
And that was without, that was without an ult, right? Like, you just feel the presence of him on the site.
8-3 now. I mean, that execute, like you said, you kind of get the information. BCJ spots the L drone, is able to put up a recon dart. Weedid's even playing from Switch. They've got an interesting crossfire going over there, but you know, as soon as that blaze wall comes out, you've got the Viper wall up. Omen smokes get deployed. Somehow Asana is just able to weave his way through all of it. Finds 3 kills from behind on the unsuspecting defenders of XSET. And, you know, they haven't looked bad in this half, Doug, but 100 Thieves is just looking, to me anyway, they look that good.
Middle of the map, at least not an easy option. I won't say it's not an option, as 100 Thieves have managed to navigate their way around that Viper's Pit a couple of times in this series, but certainly won't be an easy one as you see Weeded creeping his way forward. Good one onto Asana as well. There's that run it back off the board as BCJ's getting in a little bit of love as well with his Hunter's Fury. Still a problem as Hiko comes back up, so you get some info and you draw out that ultimate, but you aren't able to punish it, right? You're not able to trade it back. 100 Thieves are getting closer and closer towards A. The spike's on the site. The Cosmic Divide is going to come out. And that should section things off, but there's really nobody there to help punish that, right? There's nothing to stop them from working their way through the Cosmic Divide right now.
Yeah, a little bit of a preemptive pull on that, however. Paint shells rain in, nanoswarms go out, all the utilities being dispensed. Pure pops the showstopper.
1-for-1, behind the gen, he gets it. Ethan gets punished. I mean, instantly swings, gets punched in the mouth. Eco looking to get one with his Hunter's Fury. He does just that, looking for a second, gets it. But that's all he's able to get. As XSET managed to clean up the remaining members of 100 Thieves, Pure is going to get the defuse. And it was a great half from 100 Thieves, but XSET managed to eke out the very last one.
Yeah, not a bad finish. I mean, a really strong retake showing finally, you know, after so many rounds where 100 Thieves is able to get onto site. And at least today, I don't recall any rounds where XSET was able to successfully retake it until then. So really things started off with that Viper Pit at mid. Getting really cheeky with the refrigerator push, just finding one towards tiles and go narrowly. I mean, look how close this is. He does so much damage, almost pulls up one of his patented 1v3s or 1v4s, whatever it was. You almost got to see the Hiko magic unfold. Instead, XSET managed to get their 4th. 100 Thieves, who dominated throughout this game. Looking to just continue things with this pistol here.
You'll see XSET play around on the attacking side, play around that Viper's wall a lot, and I think a lot of it is conditioning, right? Like, are we going to push through the wall? Are we not? We'll see them do that almost consistently as the madness ensues across the pistol round. Weedid's already able to get 2, and yeah, a couple got traded back from 100 Thieves, but with that, they have the understanding that they're certainly not going to be able to go towards A. They're going to hightail it back towards B, and Steel's waiting.
And he's got his full kit ready for them. Now, he gets the information right now with that Aldrun. Okay, it's coming B. Rotations are going to be late. Let's see what he can do.
Wall coming up. Should be able to clear things out over market. Steel just continuing to buy time. Look at how much was delayed. Right? Now they're going to continue to creep their way forward, but members of 100 Thieves have already taken so much space. They're basically there. Aaron's in a good spot to play. Interference, so is Steel, goes in aggressive, takes care of Dwipo. He's only got 22 health left, though. ECJ in a great spot. Ethan looking to play heroics. Good for one. Aaron taps.
30 seconds left.
He's got armor, and he gets the kill onto Ethan. XSET takes the round.
Bold move, Aaron, and it pays off. Wow, I mean, Nitro dropping the dark cover right in front of Boathouse for Steel to play around in. He's got nano swarms to work with. Really, that looked like a horrible, horrible sight to be coming to late round in the pistol with those flanks coming in. Instead, Nitro gets caught off with his knife in hand. And Ethan, who's always been so lethal on top of that wall boost, gets caught out by a jumping Aaron up onto that sidewalk position. And wow, a fantastic way to win a 1v1 on the pistol and maybe be able to bring his team back into this game where 100 Thieves have looked in control so much so far. They are willing to throw a lot of utility towards A main here, knowing that potentially 100 Thieves has made their way towards wine. They know it. Ethan falls. They're actually going to contest this, Doug.
I think we did manage to see him just by the narrowest of margins, but they look to punish that. And 100 Thieves, as you said, they contest it, they swing at the right time, and they're able to punch right back. Now Weeded's going to get healed up a bit, but they don't have the numbers advantage. Technically, I mean, Austin has 7 health left. He's off the board now. Nitro got messed up pretty badly as well. As XSET look to push into 2 of the 3 remaining members of 100 Thieves by A.
Yeah. I don't think there'll be any rush to do so. Probably wait out for that Sage on Dwipo to get healed back up for Aaron. And I'm sure 100 Thieves is aware of this, so both teams doing a quick reset, repositioning. Unfortunately for Nitro, limping around at 16 HP of his own. There's no teammate support to be able to drop him a heal. So
left.
with 30 seconds left, you know, Steel will stay home over here towards B, but it'll be Nitro looking to play spoiler from back one, and I think they just saw where that came from, right?
Yeah. Yep. We did once again wise on who's playing over in that spot in Wine from 100 Thieves. Eco's still on the site. Eco's good for 1.
10 seconds.
They tear at Dwipo. They're going to have to hurry, right? And they're going to draw that out. Aaron's playing cover. Aaron's good for it, too, as he cleans up Eco. The spike goes down. Steel's going to show up, but he's going to show up late. And he's walking into a Spectre and a Bulldog with a Bucky.
This is not an easy clutch attempt.
No, and again, it's not just the 2 remaining members of XSET, it's the clock as well. That's not his friend. Aaron's Bulldog, he gets 3 on the round, cleans it up. XSET win the 2 rounds here to open the half. But now 100 Thieves find themselves at a position of strength. And we've seen a couple of times this series, Lex, where XSET, they get close to really blowing up economies, right, by winning the bonus. But it just narrowly doesn't pan out.
Yeah, somehow they've been struggling and I mean, ultimately failing to keep the economy of 100 Thieves in check since the beginning of Icebox. And it hasn't always necessarily burned them, but, you know, when we're talking about winning an OT by such a slim margin, looking back at it, you're like, those rounds were so crucial for us to win. We failed to do it. Now on Icebox, or sorry, on Ascent, you've got them in a similar position, and of course you've got Spectres, you've got a Bulldog. Not exactly a full rifle buy coming out from XSET, but still, you put 100 Thieves in this position where they basically have to win this round.
So you check out that wall went up early on from Dwipo, and Pure was able to look over towards Cat, make sure that nobody was pushing in towards Tree, right? After a bit of a delay there, that wall goes up towards Tree as well. So XSET don't have that option, while Steel's also playing towards A. There's a ton of information being gathered by what they're not seeing on that half of the map, and that's why 100 Thieves are able to cheat towards B as long as they are. Now that wall's going to go up again, though, and that's where you start to ask yourself, like, all right, Weeded's wall has gone up once, that's twice now. They weren't on the other side of it the first time around. You see them running out of time, and because of that, 100 Thieves can cheat a little bit more. Steel with the Bucky. Steel, good for 1. Nanoswarm drops. Again, the problem with this playstyle is that you run out of time, and there's really not a whole lot you can do. Steel gets the second one. Yeah, Aaron trades it out. Dwipo looking for more. As Austin is still up on top, man. And again, when you have that little time, your hand is forced.
Yeah, I mean, the and this is something you see a lot amongst, I won't even call XSET, you know, a lower tier team or an inexperienced team at this point, because, you know, they're rolling with the big dogs. But,
Right.
you know, I do wonder when we talk about the world-class kind of decision-making from 100 Thieves and how experienced these guys are, you know, it really shows in a round like that where XSET, they have the read. There's 4 members for 100 Thieves on the site, essentially, at B. You know this, and yet the hesitation is so fraught with just second guessing throughout. That was a 15 to 20 second rotation. Which really, if you just knife out, hit that 10-second window, you only face steal there, and you maybe have 40 seconds left on the clock instead. Back onto a really broken buy. Actually, they're going to open things onto steal with the frenzy that's pure in the A site. Nitro on a pin, just getting destroyed by Thwifo in a really tough spot to be in. It's a 3-on-5 retake now for 100 Thieves.
Lex, this is looking really good for XSET as they're going to get the Viper's Pit in there as well. Thwifo's in a decent spot. Weeded has to stay alive, though. Asuna using the run it back. The play into it, not even going to get a chance. He didn't even spot a single player. Nitro's going to come back up, but again, it's in a brutal spot. Asuna's going to have to do a little bit of rinse and repeat, and Aaron's in a spot to play spoiler, and he does it! He's good for 2 with the Spectre. Asuna, who's tried working his way into this Viper's Pit 2-3 times now, and has been met with no success once again. Weeded waiting on the other side. The Viper's Pit was exactly what the doctor ordered in that moment for XSET as they take the round.
What a wild round, man. And hey, I mentioned it, the Viper's Pit hasn't had a huge impact in this series so far, but see, just like everyone from 100 Thieves, not really quite sure how to handle it. Are we going to dive in? Are we going to go help Asuna? No. Flank was beautiful from Aaron. He's having one heck of a map, sitting at 21 and 10. Now, I haven't talked about scores very much throughout the series, but, you know, you look to a couple players here and there to really step up for their teams when it's these series, these maps can be this close. Well, Aaron, in a big way, is showing value to this team as XSET grabs their 7th and narrows the margin deficit behind 100 Thieves. It's the 2.
And I love what we see out of XSET here as 100 Thieves are on a weird buy. Still as a Bucky again. Hiko with a Ghost. But you see the value that they place and the creativity that they bring with the Sage, adding an element of verticality that you really don't see super often on Ascent, right? We saw it outside B. We just saw it there across the middle of the map as well. They're just able to add a wrinkle into things, and that was honestly one of the things that caused fits for Envy last night. And while 100 Thieves have the lead right now, we've seen moments where they're able to really hit in a way that hurts in those situations. And here we see 100 Thieves. They've managed to upgrade a couple of weapons. Seal's still just with the Bucky, but XSET have the numbers advantage.
Yeah, and it is so fun to watch, honestly. This new, I don't even know if it's new, but certainly something that I haven't witnessed them doing too often. But
30 seconds left.
XSET busting out those boosts often enough, hanging off in a big way. BCJ will be the first to fall on this A split. Nitro snapping to the head of the second. Doesn't grab the third as Pure will grab him, but that was a 1v2, and Aaron, who we just talked about as being the, you know, paramount player right now to be watching on the side of XSET.
10 seconds left.
Steel and Hiko, 2 of the hardest players you could be playing against right now. Hiko was having none of it. Aaron won't even get the spike down, but you know, you're still only 3 rounds away. 100 Thieves not quite on map point just yet, 10-7. And you were able to get a lot of space there, and honestly, Nitro just being so strong, just pivoting perfectly, finding the second, almost grabs the third, gets bailed out. But you know, there was a moment there where XSET really had an opportunity to take the site.
They did, man, but Nitro, the mad lad Nitro, good for 2, and then it was just enough to where Hiko was able to swing and get the third, and the numbers advantage that they had just vanished, right? Like, it totally evaporated, and from there, they found themselves in a position of strength. 100 Thieves did, and at that point, it was easy. You mentioned it was Hiko and Steel on the other side, and Aaron's had himself an incredible map so far, but that's just so difficult to play into. So yeah, you mentioned that round going in favor of 100 Thieves. XSET looking to play hot and heavy towards B this round. Weird, decent, like mixed buy. Really, it's actually just Pure, who isn't going to bring a rifle into things. Aaron has light armor, but aggression from Asuna as they push back. Thwifo got the wall up, and he spotted a couple of players across the middle of the map. The Hunter series is going to come out as well as Thwifo takes care of the initial aggression from Asuna and drops down. Here comes Pure with the showstopper. Good for it. Steel drops. Viper continues to look for more, dancing around the box, gets the second one as well. What a strong response from XSET as 100 Thieves only have 2 members remaining. Hiko and Ethan going into a 2v5, and the spike is down as well. Post plant's fully online, but Ethan, good for 1. But man, that's just like, that's a drop in the bucket relative to the rest of what they're gonna have to do to take the site back, and they just back off.
Yeah, an impressive response is an understatement, in my opinion, for XSET there. That is a huge statement. Like, okay, you're gonna play 1 player over here, just gonna leave Asuna towards B? No, I don't think so. And what they ended up doing, I mean, getting that wall boost up just put so much pressure on the site defenders. Right. Just knowing that there's that additional angle, even Nitro from the shadows into the back of boat, struggling to deal with the waifu who really is just causing distraction, causing a nuisance. Right. They follow things up with a piggyback showstopper into market, and even your rotation falls. It's nothing but curtains for 100 Thieves, and XSET answering strongly, 10-8 now. Nice little footwork. Well done.
And like, look, man, how many times have we seen Asuna in that exact same moment, right? Curveballs, pushes, lands 2, maybe 3.
True.
He almost does it there too, right? But the fact that they were able to respond, he wasn't able to land any kills, had to back up. I really think that's what opened up the site for XSET. Not dropping those kills early on, still gave them the ability to play from such a position of strength. Now we're seeing a bit of a mixed look, right? We saw heavy B last time. This time it's not full, but a lot of presence towards A. Waifu still towards B, making sure there's nobody flowing through. BCJ, the 100 feet, man, he tags it. Nitro instantly.
Oh. Yeah, spotted him on the drone. Didn't get the tag, but
oh, man.
His awareness is just unparalleled right now. 5v3 already.
Dude, BCJ is on one. He's reading him, playing the map perfectly, reading it really well, able to get the kills with the Hunter's Fury, and then having the presence of mind to know that they're being pushed in from the other side. BCJ good for a 3rd as well. Ethan looking for the peak. Weeded punishes him. He going in a 1v4. 1.
Spike down mid.
Just down to 11 health, man. Maybe if he lands that second one right off the transfer, you got something cooking, but it was just too much.
NT. And 10-9, XSET. I mean, the Hunter's Fury, he pulls the drone through A main, goes towards door, looks for the tag there, and then he must have spotted maybe the gun of Nitro over there on the right side of Hell. Just beautiful reaction, pops the Hunter's Fury and solidifies it on the 3rd mountain. Despite 100 Thieves maybe getting a little bit greedy over there towards mid, that somebody must have heard and called that out for BCJ, because both players were ready on that flank.
Yep.
Gets denied. And hey, listen, I mentioned a couple times in the first map, and again here, you brought it up. 100 Thieves has had a cushy economy throughout this entire set, and yet here they are, forced onto some pistols and a Bucky at last. See what XSET could do with it.
Map 1 went down to the wire. Map 2 looking to be a bit of the same, as 100 Thieves fight to keep a narrow 1-round lead defensively. And they're spread, I don't want to say spread a bit thin, but just kind of waiting to see where they're going to be pushing from. The thing is, XSET hasn't shown a ton in the opening moments of this round. But even with that, look at Ethan. He's postured up very aggressively. Aaron may get a shot at him. Ethan spotted him. He's just going to back off, right? And look at the rotates back immediately.
Yeah, Steel had gleamed that info. Nobody's in A main, probably 10 or 15 seconds prior. Ethan confirms it. And the stack should be tough to crack, but ouch. They're doing all the right things right now, XSET.
Yep. Yeah, they are not giving Ethan a chance at landing any nasty sheriff shots. Waifu goes up top. Again, the verticality that you introduce into this map, which you see more and more as Sage enters the fold. But it's still difficult to kind of adapt to and be around. But my gosh, 100 Thieves making this interesting. That res should certainly help things as Aaron comes back. Nitro Sheriff, 1. Not able to get a second.
10 seconds left.
Steals elsewhere. Now he's got a lockdown, right? Like, and there's a world in which he can invest the lockdown if he wants to trap them in on the site. But the thing is, he can't even make his way out towards the middle of the site, right? Like he can't even do that because Aaron's on a great spot.
Yeah. In a world where Steel 1v3s. Not today. He's not going to use it. Gonna get deleted by Aaron from Switch. Tough spot to be in, but didn't invest a whole lot into it. You know you're probably going to be yielding a 10th round. They made all the right calls. They stacked the right spots, but XSET kind of aware. I think that is a very telling thing when it comes to, a team's capability. If you're aware of how much information you've given and how likely it is that you're walking into a stack, it's like, okay, we know this is probably going to be where the majority of 100 Thieves is. We're going to clear everything. We're going to take our time, and they still pay with it. Or pay for it with blood, right? Like a few different players get dropped. They have to use a res, to make at least 3 live through the round. But they didn't lose it, and they came away with the majority of their weaponry. So they're not in any kind of a financial crisis. They've just tied things up at 10, and really the pressure flips now, Doug, back into the side of 100 Thieves, where they don't necessarily, they don't seem threatened on this map. It doesn't look like there's some great weakness that XSET is keying in on, but they're making very good calls at opportune times, and it's paying off.
And really, it was those great calls at opportune times that put them in a position where they could have won Icebox. And again, they fell just a bit short, but XSET once again finding themselves in a position to do just that. You mentioned the finances. I mean, pure 7,100. Right, like money for days. There's, again, some of that really cool verticality that we see introduced into this map. Dude, tagged up a little bit. He dealt some damage, enough to make him think twice about it. Meanwhile, Asuna pushes his way out as well. He gets away. Dwifo manages to somehow get away with his life.
And that's why Sage is my favorite agent right there. Actually, Viper. Never mind.
Yeah, I was about to say. All right, here we go. Lockdown coming out. Cosmic Divide going to do so as well as Asuna looks to work his way forward. It doesn't look like there's going to be anything to clear out the lockdown. As Pure gets one with the showstopper, gets traded out instantly. There is one player who got messed up.
Asuna. Oh, my goodness.
No way. Asuna might do it. Okay, Dwifo comes up huge as he gets it almost. So he got it at least to half. Oh, my gosh. He goes shock darts, but we didn't trade it out with a bit of a utility of his own. Hiko good for 3. Hiko gets 4. 100 Thieves take the round.
What am I watching, man? Just madness. The Cosmic Divide comes out. The Viper walls go up. And a lot of ground gets given by 100 Thieves. They're willing to kind of, concede. All right, we've been caught, out of position. Let's just go ahead and wait for the retake. And the retake is just so potent. Hiko coming in with probably several hundred damage worth of shock darts and handle shots there, and I honestly was so close that Asuna is just able to stick it for 10 on that defuse, Doug.
He got to like 80% of it. He almost stuck it.
Almost. Now, got a Hunter's Fury on Hiko. You got to run it back on Asuna. This is a much scarier situation from XSET than it was just a moment ago.
Now, Weeded has the Viper's Pit. Doesn't look like he wants to invest it early on. You think they're getting a good bit of info that they're coming. The wall goes up. A great dart. BCJ not able to land the finishing blow to take care of Ethan there.
Love the idea. That barrier orb for Ethan really just saves his life. Almost made it happen.
And with that, you even see, like, look at how 100 Thieves, they're still staying home towards A, right? Respecting an XSET. They have shown they're more than comfortable and more than willing to flip the map after drawing out some utility and making some things happen. But how many times have we seen Dwifo in this spot? Oh. Man, it's BCJ who's good for it. Spot steal as well. Not able to reach just by the narrowest of margins, but he goes Hunter's Fury, pushes him back, and Dwifo drops.
That is a huge kill from Hiko onto the Dwifo, and I wonder whether or not that's enough to deter the B push entirely. No, they're going to keep pressing forward.
Well, they don't really have time to do otherwise, Lex.
30 seconds left.
Or any map control to speak of, and Nitro catching the shoulder of Aaron through that Viper's wall, but Pure answers back onto Steel. The site is forfeit now, but Nitro looking to hold on to things gets deleted by BCJ, and it's just Hiko in a 1v3.
Doesn't have a Hunter's Fury, used it earlier, and has to work his way into a Viper's Pit. Hiko trying to find a way in, see if he can catch any lady luck as he blindly fires into the Viper's Pit. And again, you see BCJ has worked his way around. Incredible read of the situation. How many times have we called BCJ's name?
Honestly, too many. We started the series, you know, when I was doing the pregame, I was like, I was really impressed by BCJ's performances lately, and I'm going to fanboy for a moment and say I'm excited to see what he can do. And here we are, like 2 maps in, and nonstop, I'm just blown away with how impressive his performance has been as an individual. I mean, there's a lot that you could speak of when it comes to Sova being a you know, a support or a team-based agent where he enables your teammates, but BCJ is just collecting heads with his proficiency on that agent, and 5 players now from XSET poised at A main. And they're going to run into just that Hunter's Fury we just spoke of, and Ethan's already down.
Yeah, the wall was up too. BCJ good for it. Nico's still alive. Austin is going to be able to res up, and he gets a kill on Weedon.
100 Thieves on a very low buy here, obviously, and not really willing to press into that melee. XSET's going to bide their time, wait it out. Perhaps make 100 Thieves second guess their rotations, as Austin already flying back to defender spawn.
And he is the only one with a rifle too, so, well, a couple of shots from Pura there should make him think twice about it. Nitro Sheriff looking to make something happen as Hiko's just around the corner as well. So they're close by. They have a decent bit of help. The wall goes up. Nitro drops. Hiko's not able to get in on the action, but actually the wall boosted him a little bit. Just don't know that it was enough to get much going. Yeah, he didn't have an angle to work with. Now Asuna has shown up. Steel's going to show up a bit late to the party. We'll see what they can do without him. Again, remember, Asuna has a Vandal, right? He's the only one who's got a rifle here. So it's most likely that if something happens, it's going to be off the back of his heroics. Already good for one onto Aaron. Looking for a second. No, he drops. BCJ takes care of him. As Hiko and Steel try to work things in. Hiko up from top. Steel working his way in. Where Pure should be able to spot him. Hiko's dropped. Steel's left alone. Kind of toying with him, trying to buy some time. Not going to do it, ladies and gents. It was a barn burner the first time. The second time seems to be the case as well, as XSET get to match point.
Match point, not a great buy here for 100 Thieves either. I mean, they're going to get what they can. I'm pretty sure. Okay, never mind. They do get an operator, 4 rifles, it seems like. But never mind. Forget my last. But on the other hand, and this kind of applies to both teams. Yeah, both teams are without ultimates. You're 1 orb off of having your res on Thwifo, but, you know, ultimately there's not anything that's going to just be a trump card going into this round.
Right.
Already XSET, who have found so much success just executing into the sites here, both on Icebox and again in Ascent. Immediately putting pressure on Steel here at B main.
Yeah, and they feel comfortable doing so. They've managed to push off the operator, and look at how Steel, with all of the boosts that they've been going up, Steel's ready for it, but BCJ manages to win that 1v1 with the operator staring him down. Pure is able to get onto one as well, as Asuna looking to trade things back. Gets one. And the thing is, they haven't made their way onto the site. Like that Viper's wall is going to go up. Now, you see Spike creeping its way forward. Asuna playing very quietly on the other side. Curveball out. He swings with it. A little bit. Tag onto himself as Pure punishes him. Hiko trading it out. The Guardian good for one, but he's in a 1v4. XSET looking to put Hiko away, looking to put 100 Thieves away, looking to tie up the series at 1 apiece, and they're going to do just that, as there was not enough heroics. Thieves on the other side, you don't... By and large, 100 Thieves know what they like. They know what's good to them, and now, of course, as I say that, Nitro on Jet?
I love it. I have nothing else to add. I love it. I think that's a lock-in, too. Like, that's done deal.
Oh, no, that's it.
Jet. Yeah.
Yeah, that bad boy's signed, sealed, delivered. That thing's, you can take that bad boy to the bank.
Well, I mean, look, if what you're saying, and I always try to err on the side of caution and not presume too much about, like, oh, maybe they did prepare for this, as they're hovering 2 Vipers now. But, dude, if you're going to pug a map in a best of 5, right, and you know that there's one map where you're just like, this is either going to be a loss or, okay, we did grab the Viper, let's go! But if you're going to, like, have a map where you just need to kind of find yourself, you don't practice split, which... I'm sure if I consulted Twitter or you know, asked 100 Thieves themselves, they'd probably tell me, but you got to wonder, like, what can we do here? And the one, you know, a few things that you would want to avoid if you're 100 Thieves and you're in this position is, like, you don't want to get super bummed over a map that you don't practice, right? Like you don't want to get yourself, I don't know, too stressed about it. Go in there, have some fun, play it like a ranked game. Everyone, okay, who's gonna insta-lock? Go ahead. Nitro insta-locks the Jet. You know, who knows? Maybe they're just trying to have fun with it, experiment a bit. You gotta, I mean, how many times have we seen 100 Thieves pull out Astra? I don't expect you to have those stats on hand, Doug. I was just kind of like an open-ended question because I don't think we've seen it. So, you know, this definitely seems like 100 Thieves are like, hey, listen, we don't play this map. Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
See what we can do.
And I just verified this tournament, at least this close qualifier, we haven't seen Steel on Astra. And look, the community across the board, right? When Astra comes out, when you see her kit, it was almost synonymous with Steel. People were like, what can Steel do on this agent? You know, Steel obviously known for his calling and how intelligent he is about and how he approaches the game. On Astra, this is going to be a treat. So we've got a lot to talk about here, right? We've got a lot to nerd out about. Steel on Astra. How's he going to play the agent? Nitro on Jet. That's a gift in and of itself. And then you've got Hiko on Breach too. Oh, baby, this one's spicy, Lex.
Yeah. And the only thing that I will say, kind of, I'll bring my negative Nancy pants out for a second. I really do hope that 100 Thieves has a little bit of a plan. Obviously, like, you don't want to, like, just fully send the throw train, but you do kind of expect them to be having fun, trying some new stuff, maybe. But, you know, you don't want to let XSET be immensely confident going into the final maps of the series with 2 maps under their belt, right?
Right.
So at least an attempt to make this competitive or win it all outright. Early wall over mid. BCJ finding Asuna, who had no idea. And Ethan retreating into the corner. Gets snuffed out as well. 2 players already down for 100 Thieves, and the B side is forfeit to XSET.
Yeah, I mean, Steel's alone. He's on site, but he's there. And as I say that, he gets cleaned up. Weeded goes in aggressive onto Hiko, and the pistol goes. I mean,
whoa.
To say it goes in favor of XSET is selling it short.
This round was over so fast. Literally, by the time I was done throwing it to you, 3 players had died. Just XSET wiping the board with 100 Thieves, and that's you know, you can see they were tempted to do it with this all over. And as soon as Dwipo arrived on the scene, he's like, up we go. He split rapid fire. No one on 100 Thieves even reacting, really just stand in place, hold position, and hope for the best.
Yeah.
It's not panning
And
out.
what I like from XSET there was it wasn't just that they were comfortable taking the site, right? They took the site, and yeah, Steel was still playing in a smoke, but Weeded went into defender spawn. He took the matter to Hiko. And we've seen XSET when they're playing out of a place of comfort, right? Like when they're feeling themselves, when they got a little swagger to how they play. That's one of the key indicators, in my opinion, after watching probably more film than I'm willing to admit. That's where they're playing out of comfort, right? So to see that early on in the pistol, if you're an XSET fan, that bodes well.
Right quick classic burst. Clearing the clock of Weeded, but he's able to grab a heal immediately after. And, you know, we've highlighted BCJ quite a bit as the Sova.
Oh boy. All right, hang on. I'm sorry. The wall went up. Nitro was stuck on the other side, but you saw the other members of 100 Thieves working their way towards B, right into where XSET's pushing. Now, they don't have great guns. Steel's the only one with a better weapon. So you expect, my gosh, what?
Better weapon, an
Bucky still
understatement.
hurts, bro. Oh, and then you see that.
I jinxed it, man. I jinxed it. That was the blessed Bucky, and I just betrayed him. Rip.
Oh, Nitro, who is alone on the other side of the Sage wall, still alive. He's got a classic into a 1v3. Got the high-low stack. You don't even get a chance to see that the high-low stack is in the B corner because Aaron just mows you down with the Bulldog. XSET win the following round.
Man, it's got a 4x on top of it. Just sniping the Bucky long range. You know what, man? Considering they invested next to nothing, literally that was the only Bucky on the side of 100 Thieves. The rest had classics. The decision to buy into this round makes me think maybe Steel made a mistake and accidentally bought the Bucky and kept it. I don't know, but got a Bulldog on Hiko, opting to collect more flash points than he needs. Firepower. That fault line towards A main, slowing the push just a bit, but XSET with all 5 players, they're coming here.
They are, and you can tell they were comfortable playing on the retake. They didn't want to be there initially. Nitro slowly, quietly, but surely trying to sneak his way around back into the belly of the beast, and now the jig's up. They know he's there, but he did manage to get a kill for his troubles. Aaron, however, is going to be able to do a bit of the same, but no, the timing's terrible as he swings. They snap onto him, clean him up. Needed now, see what he can do with a Bucky of his own. Asuna dash. Bucky misses.
Oh.
Again, in a 1v5, Nitro good for 4, a flawless round. And that wasn't nothing out of XSET, right? Like, they didn't walk in there with classics.
No, I mean, it was their bonus, but you know what? That is still a beautiful sight hole. 100 Thieves, despite some diminished firepower perhaps inside of XSET. I mean, look at that. That is, you called it timing? Woo, buddy. That is a heartbreaker if you're Aaron, knowing that just around the corner, you had the potential to maybe lock in that round, but 3 players just staring at him as he comes around. Ouch. 4th round now. And this will be the first test here for the defense of 100 Thieves, where they're not up against any kind of SMG Bucky buy. This is a full send rifle round for both teams.
And it's the same look. The one difference is they opt to push up into ramps this time, where Nitro was able to cause problems from before. They take that area of the map. They're able to get a couple of kills too and wall off anyone coming in from vents. But Asuna still, the Raze utility cleans things up. Excuse me. As Aaron manages to get the spike down. A couple of remaining players in a brutal spot on the side of 100 Thieves. Asuna's going to drop. Steel's going to show up a bit late to the party, as he was trying to hold down B at the beginning of this round. And I mean, he's got a Bulldog.
I'm going to talk through his attempt at a 1v4 or a save or whatever he's going to do here. That is something that I think is so underrated, especially about just the whole comp that XSET is rolling with. I mean, they've got the Viper wall. You can see right there on our screens. Pierre's looking at it right now. And it denies so much vision. Yeah, but it also creates so much space for the attackers. The Steel's going to make contact here. Might catch one. They'll fall to Pure. But it creates so much space for the attackers to basically walk right up to it.
Right.
And that breach flashpoint, where a lot of the time you're kind of sending it into the void, just hoping that you blind someone long enough to create that space for your team. Well, if you've already claimed it, Waifu just basically walks 2 feet into the frag that is, you know, helped massively by the fact that Nitro's turned away from that flashpoint. And that's kind of scary if you're thinking about just the prospects of what XSET has been doing in the prior 2 maps, where they're not really working defaults a whole lot. They don't care a whole lot about map control and making mid-round decisions. As I say that, they're going to spread the default here. But I guess what I'm trying to get at is, you know, those explosive strats have been catching 100 Thieves out, as Nitro narrowly misses that B main entrance tag. Doesn't quite nail it.
No, and Alex, I think you're hitting on something really important, because that's the strength of Viper. It's not just setting up the flashpoint situations like that, but then also you condition the opposing team to have to respect it, right? Like, you never know what's on the other side of that wall and how you could just be blasting through there at any moment, as Asuna drops first kill in the round. So for XSET, we've seen that Viper and just how good it can be because of things like that. Nitro's going to get another chance with the operator in just a moment. Missed once. And I lied. He's not even going to get a chance. The fault line was just too much. He does get a second one, but he was flashed up. Shot goes wide, not able to deliver it. But Hiko, good for one. Not going to breach of his own. He's going to get cleaned up. BCK joins the fold again. The Viper's Pit is going to come out in a 5v2, make that a 5v1, as Nitro, who was contacted at the very beginning, was just hightailing it. Looking to save that operator, see if anybody can hunt him down. Nope. Splitting the uprights, really.
Jet main, by the way. Tough. I mean, I'm actually very guilty of this, but people love to spark the narrative of, oh, Jet's so easy. Look at her. She's so OP. Look at her go. But you're getting pressured at this level by Viper Wall, Reach flashes, fault lines, like all of the utility that just came out from XSET to push Nitro off those angles, ultimately send him all the way to Defender Spawn, where he met his demise. I mean, That is just, it's so tough to even come away with one when you're playing against a well put together team in XSET, and that one opportunity at the beginning of the round. That's all he gets, that entirety of that round. So XSET doing everything. They're doing their due diligence, I guess, to make sure they're not making any mistakes. And as I say that, we did overextending just a bit at Sewer. He gets traded out.
Well, and you can tell it looks like understanding that 100 Thieves was on a pistol, they were going to play something aggressively, and that's exactly what they did, right? The wall didn't go up from Ethan at the very beginning like we've seen a couple of times. They just pushed their way through, and Weeded was wise to it, managed to get one. It was just a bit too much as Ethan gets a second one with the Sheriff. Numbers advantage in favor of 100 Thieves. As I say that, it gets traded out.
Down, mid.
A 2v2 here. The spike is down in the middle of the map. Steel and Aaron about to have an Astro duel. Steel in a great spot. Steel catches him slipping, and he's going to upgrade the weapon. This looked good for XSET, and it's gone horribly sideways.
Man, I'm starting to believe in caster curses, dude. Like, I'm just literally sitting here talking about how careful XSET has been handling those angles against Nitro's operator, and here they are, just wide swinging into Sheriffs, it seems, 2 or 3 times in this round, and it's cost them dearly in Thwifo. I mean, 25 seconds left. He's alone over here for the moment. Not going to use that time to get the spike down just yet. Here it goes now. And the Rolling Thunder is going to put this one away more than likely. As Hiko whips out the ghosts and finishes the job as Thwifo falls for 2, and answering back is 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and they invested the Rolling Thunder there. They get the kill. They get the kill. They get the round. It's a 30-round win. But then I think another thing that's worth noting, both Steel and Hiko upgraded weapons. They bring those into this round for free, so financially they're in an even better spot than they would have been otherwise. Things look really good for 100 Thieves. But again, XSET, they've still got money to blow, man. You still got Weeded on 4,300. Pure is on 41 as well. They have 2 ultimates to work with on this round as they stack towards a heavy presence that way. And again, it's that wall that's going to go up. The Rolling Thunder is going to be used, but expecting a player top ramps, because that's what's been on the other side a couple of times. It's actually Steel who's playing a bit off, but he's just so patient. Then the flash was there. Oh my gosh, Asuna! But it doesn't land on anything. Steel's still good for 2. The flashes are still there. Pure is trying to deal some damage with the utility, and it's the gun that cleans up Steel. Now he's got a showstopper of his own. He brings in from the previous round. Weeded gets the spike down. The thing is, this is winnable for 100 Thieves because of how weak they are. Well, I was going to say because of how weak XSET is. Nitro good for 1. In a 1v3. Weeded so weak. ECJ certainly not super healthy either. Nitro, baby! Nitro does it!
Wow. And an absolutely chaotic round. Just madness over there at the top of A ramp. Somehow, XSET comes away with the advantage. Has a 1v3 scenario that just seems like it's locked up and finished with. And Nitro just answering back in a 1v3, a huge clutch for his team. Standout performance for him, and like I said, man, Jetman, by the way, this is calling.
It was just so weak, right? Like we mentioned it before that fight goes down. There were so many members that had low health bars. It was winnable, still difficult, but winnable, and Nitro pulls it off. 1 ult point away from having that Blade Storm online as XSET looked to take the matter towards B. No operator. Well, Nitro does have one, and he may be walking right into it. That gravity well with the fault line, excuse me, it's just enough to delay, but they're still going to challenge Nitro here. Now, Nitro in this previous position didn't deliver as he would have liked, but he's going to get a chance at redemption here in just a few moments. Nope. Oh, and the flash comes out as well, understanding there's pressure coming. Cosmic Divide coming out as well. Nitro still narrowly missing. Thwifo drops. There's going to be a counter Cosmic Divide as well, as the map is totally crossed up. Thwifo should be able to get the spike down. As Weeded plays back in the corner. Excellent work from the observers to give us a bird's eye view of the chaos that's going on. Steel taking care of Aaron. Nitro still looking, understanding Weeded's likely back there. He knows the player is back there. And they're starting to smoke it out, but Weeded able to take care of Hiko anyway. Thwifo dropping. Weeded still on the swing. Just has to play enough nuisance. BCJ and Weeded good for it. Steel alone. For 100 Thieves, what a shot. Weeded down to 10 health. But again, this cross is so difficult. for Steel. They're just trying to delay, right? Distract Steel enough. Needed goes up huge. Steel was in a great spot there too, but it was just too oppressive from XSET.
That is a huge round win. Not only are you coming away, I mean, that was a 5v5, I think, post plant, or a 5v4 post plant. You know, you have the opportunity to send, 100Thieves back towards, either a broken buy or an eco, and down to the wire almost. I mean, if we did falls, BCJ's forced into a 1v1, a very winnable situation considering it was not planted for him over there at B main, and yet NT to Steel doesn't quite get it done. Back onto a couple pistols, a Bucky maybe, and a Blade Storm out from Nitro.
Oh, but he got flashed up to high heavens. I don't think he saw a single person. Right, and XSET's able to push right into that. They're able to get a couple of kills early on. There's just a Frenzy, a Bucky, and a Classic. Still remaining on the side of 100Thieves. As the spike goes down, they're in a decent spot of where they are. Whoa.
Just bulldog things.
Ethan's Classic taking care of them. Satch across the charge. Asuna looking to add a bit to his frag movie, but isn't able to pull that one off. Steals Frenzy. Not around for long. Now, that wasn't, again, not an ideal buy from 100Thieves, but that was as hot and as heavy as it gets from XSET.
Yeah, I mean, just getting that initial kill on the Nitro, who was the main point of defense there with the Blade Storm. I think he was backed up by Hiko, who probably was ready to send him into some aggression, but nevertheless, he gets run down by Pure. And that's something that I think, despite this not being a map that 100Thieves plays, that's something that I think they're doing right now, is Hiko has been in the right spots at a few different points of execution for XSET, just to delay, to get the rotations in. Throwing the counter breach utility out has helped. But it hasn't helped enough. As early
Discipline corner, discipline corner. Oh, it's a discipline corner, and people never check that. Nitro's able to mow him down. Hiko gets in on it as well. How many times, Lex? How many times have we seen? That happens too often.
I love that you call it that. The discipline corner. Whispering it in my ear, and there it is. Nitro just finding 3 players unawares. Twyfo. Man. Let Doug tell you a little bit about the discipline corner, and you'll never make that mistake again.
I just, it's like watching a train wreck happen, right? Because they're not going to check it. They're just going to walk right by.
Always. But you have a Viper's Pit and a res here for XSET, so if they're able to get onto the site, be a very strong close plant. Nitro again playing this close angle. Weeded will find the better of him, though.
And look at Weeded's adaptation already, right? Killed Nitro. Where to go next? Instant next place he went was to check the discipline corner, make sure there's no one there. Weeded's going to use the Viper's Pit to buy them some space on the site. As Aaron looks to play contact from A main. It's a difficult but doable retake for 100Thieves as Ethan gets one.
Viper's Pit almost seems to be hurting XSET more than helping at the moment, but res comes out. It'll be a 5-on-3, a 5-on-2.
What?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is there's no real angles to fight from once the pit is up, right? And the damage gets dealt both ways. I think it was Aaron, basically, at the front of the flower pot was expecting some coverage from Heaven, but all of his teammates are caught behind the cover and concealment of Sign, Elbow, and ultimately the Viper's Pit that is just obscuring everything. So what really was a advantage XSET round, where not only are you going in with a few ultimates that can net you a round win, full utility, but you also have the entry and a spike plant. It's tough to see them capitulate in such a quick fashion. That said, 100Thieves, you've got a showstopper available, you've got Rolling Thunder, you've got a Blade Storm, and you've got a full buy. Last round of the half here, Doug. They're looking to make things even.
There are no operator in the hands of Nitro this time, as Weeded's rocking a Bulldog. Rifles the rest of the way. Or at least, I say rifles. Vandals. All right, here comes Spear. Oh, no. It's a dueling showstopper, and Asuna walks away with one. Hero doesn't land on it, but the rifle is what takes care of him. Weeded's going to get the res. Bring him back into the fold. BCJ's Rolling Thunder clearing out the site. Tagged up a couple. The wall's going to go up as well. Dueling Rolling Thunders coming out from Hiko. And after all of that ruckus, the cacophony that takes place on the site, everything comes Slow it hard. Ethan playing around the pillar. Ethan's gonna get punished. He gets taken out at the hands of Pure. Nico's looking to do a bit of the same and may have a bit more luck. Just enough for one. Spike is still not down. Right? They're still feeling things out. Nitro has a Blade Storm. What can he do with the Jet Ultimate? A couple of players on the other side of this. Viper Pit Wall still drops. Nitro alone. Not able to land the blades that he needs. He's gonna dash back. Spots a couple of players, but again, in a 1v3 here, Ultimate no longer in tow, 77 health.
30 seconds left.
Now the spike goes down, seeming like an eternity later. Now, Weeded has 10 health. You see him kind of playing on the site. Weeded wasn't even a factor, as Aaron's the one who cleans him up. XSET on the attacking side get to 7-5 at half.
Just using the Viper utility so well. Her entire kit being employed when they can. I mean, throughout this entire half, I feel like they're using the kit on Weeded to get up close, impersonal, and just dance around with 100 Thieves who, you know, they're not necessarily making bad calls or bad decisions. In fact, more often than not, you know, XSET isn't exactly faking. They're throwing early map presence. They're not being secretive about what they're doing whatsoever. And even in that last round, 100 Thieves is basically fully rotated before the execute even finishes. But heroics of Weeded several times in this game, dropping the Viper wall, finding a pick for his team, putting it back up, putting the spike down. Those kind of maneuvers are buying XSET so many more lives into these rounds where 100 Thieves seems to be shutting the door on them, and yet now we're at 7-5, a fantastic first half for XSET.
We'll see if 100 Thieves is able to replicate that success on their attacking half as they look to stick the matter towards the middle of the map. Gonna wall off vents as they turn their attention over towards B. They funnel in. Ethan already good for one. Steel working elsewhere on the map as the spike drops. And the thing is, and Hiko's there, Nitro's there as well, but they aren't in a position where they can effortlessly get to the spike, right? Because you've got to cross from where the defender spawn is coming from. Aaron's good for it. Aaron's not able to get a second as the clip runs dry. Pure around the pillar, not able to land the shots. Hiko comes up big there. Steel joins in, I mean, late, but he arrived better late than never as 100 Thieves won the pistol.
For XSET, that's a tough retake. You really, I mean, obviously they can't know where Steel was. They didn't realize that Hiko was basically alone there, but you know, getting the first kill traded out, I think it was BCJ being followed up by Aaron, but just a very beautifully handled situation from Hiko, just making sure that there's no chance that his team's going to lose a second pistol here. And we're only at a one-round deficit, so I somehow maybe painted the picture that this was XSET's game to lose. Not at all. Both teams very much in contention for what could be a very crucial map 3.
Flex, they forced again. XSET has Spectres and Buckies. Now that gravity wall may be a problem, but oh my gosh, when you've got a Bucky like that in the hands of Weeded, it's certainly going to help. Eco and Ethan are able to trade out a couple of kills, however, as 100 Thieves cause a bit of ruckus in the middle. Right, they're also taking space up towards A, but they haven't committed to anything quite yet.
Yeah, just a little early on that mid-aggression. Almost works out even better for XSET than it did, but Steel, who usually is the lone operator somewhere else on the map while his team makes a push together, has claimed at least the entrance for A main. So as Nitro throws a little bit of a fake over towards B, Tailwind with a cloud burst, trying to make some noise. Look at the rotates that he's drawing right now, just off the audio cues.
Right, and Aaron, I mean, Aaron's getting messed up here, but now the cavalry's coming over.
30 seconds left.
Ethan good for it. Oh, Aaron's there, yeah, man. Aaron's good for one. The spike drops, and again, it's just delaying time, right? Rifle's now going to show up into a 1v1. Bucky potentially going to get an upgrade against Eco Spectre. Dwifo gets a Spectre of his own. Health advantage slightly in favor of Hiko, and he's still understanding that's likely where Dwifo's coming from. The flashpoint's going to come out. Patient. Spots where Dwifo is. Now Dwifo drops. The flash is there. The shots are delivered. It was almost easy as Hiko gets 3, ties us up at 7 apiece.
Yeah, Hiko's really coming into form. That's a couple rounds now where 100 Thieves have almost given away the advantages that they worked so hard for in these rounds. He's able to seize the opportunity and make sure that they are winning every chance they can, and that's 2 in a row where on a knife's edge he's able to seal things out for the team. So 7 apiece, all tied up here. And we've talked about we did a whole lot in this game right there on the scoreboard. He's already at 14 kills. It's no wonder. Both teams playing exceptionally well, and you got to think, if this isn't a map that 100 Thieves is playing often, Doug, actually. Mid-aggression already coming up. BCJ with a Bucky in hand is going to find a little bit of contact.
Yeah, wall goes up again across vents. We've seen this wall from Ethan a couple of times as they turn their attention towards B. He did playing the ropes. Ethan down to 14 health. They got messed up.
We did maybe missing the snake bite just a bit, but it doesn't quite matter. Asuna backs up for now. Never mind.
Doesn't miss that one.
Right there.
So here's the thing.
Go ahead.
So here's the thing. So the wall's up across middle. We mentioned it earlier, but then also there's a wall out of B garage. They have no information of A. Ethan's going to be the one who gets that, even though he goes a point away from having his Rolling Thunder. And they almost have to wait the wall out, right? So they're going to clear things out. Now they're going to push their way forward. They are not at full strength. Steel is still across the middle of the map, as is customary. As Nitro goes in first with the Phantom, he's able to take care of one. He did, trying to cause problems. Not going to do so with the Bucky. BCJ has to back up. And it was a difficult spot, right? Like, maybe a decent positioning, right? As far as what they were able to take away from 100 Thieves, but the gun difference there on full display.
Yeah, and I think XSET, playing a little bit cautiously, not wanting to overstack anything. I understand that, but you kind of highlighted a few things where there's a lot of mid and B main map presence being made, and no information towards deep mid or A at all. I wonder at that point, like, you only have Buckies and Classics, might as well just pull it into a stack. Didn't quite work out that way. But with XSET now kind of going into this buy round, we've seen this frequently with Aaron rocking the operator with Astra. I wonder what he's able to do with it here on split. Early mid push coming in for 100 Thieves. Snake bite will delay. And in the pregame, Doug, I had mentioned this, but I think it's actually being shown quite well here, where We Did's Vipers kind of being a different look from XSET on these maps.
Now, Steel once again caught behind a wall. Right, so they understand nobody who's pushed their way through A yet. You're starting to see some of the flashpoints come out as the middle of the map seems to be what's exposed. The wall that's across middle is forcing Nitro to take the scenic route, but that's all right because his team has already gotten there, right? They've blasted their way in through heaven. Asuna is going to Tokyo drift his way around that pillar back into the back of the site. Now XSET are going to have to try to push their way in. They have decent heaven control, so they should be able to apply some pressure from there as Nitro gets the spike down. This is very similar to where we saw these two teams in opposite spots before, and it was 100 Thieves who was able to retake because of the power that they were able to expose from heaven. The Rolling Thunder is going to come out. BCJ looking to land a couple shots. Is he and Redid off the loan? Yeah, BCJ good for it. Redid's good for one as well. 2v2, both Asuna and Nitro so dangerously weak. He drops as well. Nitro has the Blade Storm. 15 health. As the clock continues to play. Got a couple dashes, but he's not able to pull it off. Redid swings at just the right time. Nitro not able to land the shots. XSET tie us up at 8. Much like map 1, Lex, much like map 2, this thing's going down to the wire.
Wow, man. That was very, very close to being a 100 Thieves round, and it all kind of starts, I think, with the retake here. ECJ and We Did taking heaven control, taking ramp control, just making sure there's nobody on the flank. As the rest of their teammates kind of fall by the wayside and get isolated one by one. Just a really, really gritty retake, working together throughout. Impressive stuff from those two. And for 100 Thieves, everything went right there.
Yeah.
Didn't pan out.
Still it didn't.
Yeah.
We did using the Viper's Pit and right across the middle of the map at the beginning. Also worth noting, Waifu didn't put the wall up at A main because Aaron is waiting there with an operator, right? So they're willing to give that up and apply pressure elsewhere. or potentially hang on to it, at least for the time being here. He used it in Garage to funnel them towards positions of strength. The middle of the map got taken. How did Asuna get through undetected? Excuse me. Pure drops. Weeded's like, what?
My bad, man.
How? Just on the other side, the barrel gives BCJ away as Asuna continues to cause problems. And you have to deal with it now, right? You can't afford to leave that alone any longer.
Yeah, this gutsy play by Asuna to get all the way up into ropes, paying off in dividends. But 100Thieves with a fast play into B now. Fuifo alone on an island has to fend for himself with just a Spectre in hand. He's eating every piece of utility. Asuna Showstopper's actually out. He did collects 2, and Fuifo finds the third on Asuna, and it's a 2v2, Doug.
What? The spike isn't down, and they don't really have time to flip the map, so they're going to have to stick to things here. Steel drops. Nico looking to get the plant down. The thing is the wall. So the wall was there, so he knows he's safe from one side. A gravity wall coming through, trying to push him off, and it's an operator from Aaron that cleans him up. That round was absolute madness from beginning to end.
It's a 5v3. Asuna's got the rotations technically cut off. Obviously, it didn't work out because we did walk right by him. But you think about how much space and time he was able to give to his teammate there. You know, they were able to back out of mid completely safe, regroup towards B main. Fuifo has no help here. And somehow, look at this, Showstoppers just came out a bit too late. Weeded finds 2 headshots onto site. And Aaron bailing out the rest of the round with 2 beautiful operator kills. We're tied back, or sorry, it's now advantage XSET 9-8.
And that was Fuifo with the Spectre.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and that's one of the things, like, you miss that when you just look at stats, because that's a high impact kill. He gets that, Asuna gets that kill onto Fuifo with the Showstopper. They have easy access onto the site. All of a sudden, we're talking 9-8 the other way.
Big round. Look at the economy for 100Thieves here. I mean,
yeah,
we've talked about it plenty of times. Both of these teams have been very good at converting their anti-eco, anti-thrifty rounds, whatever you want to call it. Rolling Thunder does get released over towards mid, and they don't know where Asuna's position is, and it costs Sweded's life. BCJ will trade it back out, but now it's a 4-on-4.
Now Fuifo has a res, right? But Ethan's going to get the plant down. There's the res coming through as Weeded's going to join the fold again. Nitro with the Blade Storm. Didn't have a ton of success earlier. We'll see if he's able to make some magic happen here. As he's in a decent spot. The Cosmic Divide's going to come out. Nitro playing so carefully, but I mean, I guess you don't really have to swing when you've got Ethan ripping faces off like that. Now, Pure has the Showstopper. You can't really get away in, right? Like, the wall doesn't really allow Aaron to get in. Pure would kind of have to do it alone. You kind of question if you just keep the operator in this case, which seems to be what they're doing. They're just going to save. And Lex, we're tied up at 9.
Yeah, I wonder how much of these guns they're going to be able to recover. There's 1 on the Nitro, 2 on the Ethan. I almost wish that maybe Pure sticks around and makes sure that they can't grab any of those. They were all towards heaven. But man, that was a really, I'll say that was a bad read from XSET to go ahead and play that mid aggression. And a beautiful response at 100Thieves to be like, okay, there's 4 players at top mid. Let's just go ahead and plant B. You know, there was only 2 players. I think it was Nitro and Ethan claiming the site with no opposition whatsoever. And XSET was just pinched from 2 angles and had nothing but really a Cosmic Divide to stare at. There's not really a lot of room to work with. Now we're back to 9 each.
So this time, XSET, they put up the wall that they've put up the majority of the rounds in Fuifo, but look at how tight they've got a couple of their players positioned. All right, waiting to see if they're going to boost over the wall or Asuna comes flying over it as well. So many different ways that can pan out. Choosing to respect it. As you see, it's a bit of a weird buy, right? Like, Pure's got a frenzy, and yeah, he has that Showstopper in his back pocket. Aaron has no armor. You can feel the tension. You can feel how neither team's really willing to make a mistake here. They want to play very carefully. They want to play very slowly, understanding the really the gravitas of the moment. Cosmic Divide coming out.
There are
You are
3 players
divided.
towards B here. This timing is just going to work out for XSET as they spot the info. Nitro's in.
But they were on the site, right? Like the Cosmic Divide's not going to delay anything except for the members who are on the late rotate. They're able to anchor the site from the site. Aaron just narrowly missing that last shot, but Ethan and Hiko are able to get a couple of their own. Now the rotate shows up, but it may be too little too late. Once again, Pure has that showstopper. He was holding on to in that previous round, but that's all he's got. That and a frenzy. Here comes Pure. Yeah, he gets one. Nitro's out. Again, still numbers advantage in favor of 100 Thieves, though. I don't know how they do this. Pure trying to blast pack across, get a gun, and as soon as he gets it, all hope, the sliver of what may have been there gets taken, snatched out of his hands. And Steel getting the last one on to Thwifo as well. 100 Thieves take the lead.
Wow, and that was a really tight affair over there towards Pillar. Aaron and we did just overextending a moment too soon and a moment just missed there as, you know, you've got a 4-on-3 at this point. There's no reason to be challenging these angles. I say no reason. You know, it's a gut check type moment. Go for the repeat. You miss your shot. These things happen. But you know, on a knife's edge, that round is once again claimed by 100 Thieves, who retake the lead. This is back and forth every round now, Doug. You're back.
Light buy from XSET. Light buy from XSET. Bucky, a couple of judges. We haven't seen that a ton. In this series is XSET looking to play nice and tight with these shotguns, see if they can wreak any havoc. While 100 Thieves, again, still playing very defaulty, right? Like Steel has been feeling things out towards A while the rest of the team sees what they can get elsewhere on the map. So far, nothing doing.
XSET again operating with little to no info on a short buy. It's just tough call, but at least BCJ knows, okay, there's at least 3 in middle.
Yeah, but they don't follow up, right? Like there's nothing pushing in. You get the fault line, you get the flash, and you think someone's about to be like taking my lunch money out of my front pocket, but there was nobody following that up.
Here.
As soon as they drop that utility, they pull off and they want to go towards B. Steel is pulled over as well. This is where the hit is. The Rolling Thunder is going to come out, knocks up BCJ. Nitro just trying to blindly fire through the flash to see if he can land on anything. It's actually Ethan who takes care. We did. Asuna gets onto the site. Aaron drops his one. Steel on the flank. He's covering the rotation points. So oppressive.
Yeah, it was Nitro in the prior 2 maps, but Steel coming in on the lurk several times in this game already. And again, it's this constant knowing that it's a threat where XSET, you can see at times the hesitation, the second guessing of which angle and which piece of the map you need to attack first.
Right.
Right there, it does pay off for 100 Thieves, but just a Bucky 20 HP on BCJ, not much doing with it, but you know, you're not quite out of it yet. 11-9 going to be the coming round where 100 Thieves is looking to grab that map point, but you don't really have any ultimates working into this round for either team, so interesting to see whether or not BCJ tries to play for an orb or if they have any kind of aggression that'll come out of that, but they'll be able to at least be on a little buy, Doug.
Which is exactly what they need here. And then, I mean, yeah, financially, you start to feel with as late as we are into this map, much like map 1, much like map 2, there is 0 margin for error. We see a pause coming through as teams try to talk through how they want to approach this ever pivotal round, because they, you know, play things out here with me for a second, okay? This goes in favor of 100 Thieves. XSET don't have a ton of dough. 100 Thieves are at match point. This is a map that should technically be going in favor of XSET as they're comfortable on it. It's, I mean, you're in dire straits there if you're XSET. And if you flip things the other way, there's still a decent amount of money on the side of 100 Thieves. Asuna's sitting on 6,300. Nitro's got even more. So they're in a much more advantageous position. This is an uphill battle for XSET for the rest of this map.
And it's crazy to think that we're even here right now, considering 3-4 rounds ago, XSET was, you know, coming off of a few round wins where they looked very much comfortable on the defensive side of split against 100 Thieves, and now seems like 100 Thieves, who in contrast to the way that XSET was approaching the attack side of the map, kind of spread things out, worked out the utility, dealt with Sage Wall early in the round. The barrier orb out, make sure it's down, make sure they can't use that later on against you.
Right there.
And they bait a lot of this breach utility. Early B split here now, Doug.
Oh, it's going to be right into Weeded. Gravity Well pulling him through as well. Able to deal some damage. It's BCJ who shows up, trying to play heroics. Is able to get one, but pays for it with his life. As Weeded, gets pushed off the top. Even as he tried to reposition, it wasn't enough as he's going to drop Ethan. Already good for 3 on the round with the Vandal. XSET 2 members remaining. And 100 Thieves, yeah, they should be able to get the spike down here with 0 problem. Really good post plants as well. This does not look good for XSET.
No, and the positioning has been really not bad at all for XSET, even in this round where all the pieces are in place to defend appropriately against what 100 Thieves is throwing at you. Instead, though, you almost feel like you're witnessing a few... Okay.
Oh.
Wifo?
And now they've got entry. They're going to have to be pushing in from heaven. Wifo good for another one. Pure. Yeah, Asuna is going to challenge that 1,000% of the time in a 1v3 with the showstopper. He's just going to rain fire down from up top.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's a consolation prize you could count. Like, we got the showstopper out of him. But unfortunately, you've given him map point now. And again, it seems as though the positioning, like all these fights that are being taken by XSET, they're prepared for it. They've got the rotations where they need to be, but, both Weeded and Aaron not fighting together right there towards Hell. The miscue with BCJ going up the ropes as Weeded drops. Those situations where it kind of stems from not getting that first entry kill, not hitting your shots the first time around. And the gunfight just very one-sided towards 100 Thieves. And it's been 3 or 4 times in this half where you almost expect XSET to be at an advantage at one point. They just missed, but another fast play coming in from 100 Thieves. Weeded's waiting with a judge.
Oh
He'll find
my
3! And a snake bite to follow. That's more damage coming out, but Hiko just runs right through it, knowing the damage that was just done to his team. EA sight. Now, he doesn't know it just yet, but it is clear, so the spike will come out any moment now. And it'll be a 2-on-4 retake for XSET to keep their hopes alive in this map, Doug.
Spike planted.
Hiko and Steel trying to anchor things down. Both playing on site. You've got Astra Stars all over the place for Steel. Rez coming through for Weeded, making things even better in favor of the defending team as they try to retake this site. This first star coming through, Steel looking to deal a little bit more and actually pushes in. He's pushing into the smoke. He's going to try to catch him off guard, but not able to. Steel and Hiko both drop. The defuse is going to come through, and XSET live to play another round.
Another map that's going to go right down to the wire, Doug.
My heart can't handle this, Lex.
But hey, that was a few rounds now in this half where 100 Thieves is like, okay, we're going to approach mid slowly. We're going to work a little bit of what looks like a default, make some map presence, and then we're just going to execute. Speaking of executions, Weeded in the right place at the right time. Judge, jury, executioner just didn't even need to see the opponents he was shooting at. Lines 3, big ones.
I think kills 2 and 3 came off of the same shot, if I'm
Possible,
not
yeah.
mistaken. Just such a tight corner for them to push their way through. Oh boy.
Trying
Look
this
at
again.
XSET. Look at how they're playing this. The Rolling Thunder coming out. Pure's not going to be able to follow up with the Showstopper. He's not going to be able to follow up with anything except his death as Asuna is able to take care of him. Asuna playing around this wall. A little bit of makeshift cover as they try to fend back the aggression that XSET's throwing at him. Flashes across. Oh, as the Viper's Pit's going to come out as well. Really make 100 Thieves think about whether or not they want to push their way up the middle of the map. And no, and they're not going to push towards B either. They're just going to take the scenic route back towards A, where things should be safer because look at how far up Steel is. He's in their spawn.
This is deja vu to what I would describe as the other most pivotal round in this half has been XSET trying to force this mid-aggression and leaving a site all for 100 Thieves taking. Steel already in a defender spawn. This should be, Doug, the end of the map considering how well 100 Thieves has answered in this round, but not over just yet. You've got a 4-on-5 retake scenario now.
And you've got the Viper's Pit. Oh, it's still up, excuse me, across the middle of the map. Hiko did manage to get himself the Rolling Thunder, so you talk about adding insult to injury. The thing is, you can tell they understand they don't have presence across the defender spawn, so they have to like very cautiously work their way in. You feel the pressure coming out. The Rolling Thunder is going to follow. Steel swings with it as Aaron drops. And the thing is, there's just so difficult to get past right now, but they've got to do it because the spike continues to tick away. Waipo good for one. Looking for a second. He gets it. But he's got 9 health, and when he doesn't have his time, Lex, it's running out. They can play this so safely as the spike is going to go off. Yeah, they get another kill, but he eventually drops. 100 Thieves
has found their final form on Haven, you know, from what we've seen thus far in the tournament from them. You and I even got to cast a series or two from it. So, got to see plenty of what XSET can offer us, but I mean, you mentioned the one rep that we may or may not have seen if viewers at home for 100 Thieves earlier on in the tournament, but, you know, that was against Envy. And, you know, you have a 13-4 win against Envy on any map. I feel like that is a scary stat line if you're trying to prepare for it as XSET. But ECJ's back to the Sova. Got Aaron sticking with the... well, actually, it's Weeded who's switching the agents over.
Yeah.
Phoenix. But despite swapping some of the agents around, and this is kind of something that I think we talked a little bit about on Ascent, XSET still searching for their identity to some degree and how they want to play these maps, but I felt like the Viper, and this is definitely not one of her stronger maps, it's been something that they've been able to lean on. They're not going to have that here.
No, it's not going to be in the fold. And I think I just want to kind of highlight a bit more of what you were lightly touching on. Weeded normally plays Astra. Here, Aaron's the one who normally on Haven plays Raze. So there are a couple of things that are going on. It's Aaron who's not on the Raze. It's Pure who's on the Raze. And then they're bringing a Phoenix into the fold. So there are a couple of things very different from how we saw them play this map last time. And for 100 Thieves, see Nitro back on the Omen. Ethan, excuse me, on the Sage. Hiko back on the Tried and True Sova. And then Austin and Steel wrapping things up on Phoenix and Cypher respectively. So the composition on the side of 100 Thieves, we've seen this a couple of times. They're really dang good at it, and if it ain't broke, well, why change it up? But for XSET, again, like they're trying something a little different here.
Yeah, and I think that's something that when we're talking about skill levels, experience, all that stuff, intangibles, some of that stuff I think is you know, almost always going to be relevant in the conversation when you're contrasting two teams. But and this is very much a I don't know. Can't measure this, but 100 Thieves definitely know what they're good at on these maps. They know what comps work for them, and I talked about identity for a second there, but you know, I think all of these players on 100 Thieves are falling into their roles pretty darn well at this point since their recent roster changes. So for the other side of things, XSET, the less experienced roster, don't think I'm wrong for saying that, but they're still kind of feeling their way through these series, these matchups where they're not quite sure how they want to play it. And there's no fault in that, considering you've already made top 2 in an event, and right now you're just playing for money and seeding. But another C play, fast, coming up from BCJ and the likes of XSET.
Full send. Weeded made his way into garage on the Phoenix that we highlighted. Good for one already. On the Frenzy, and they've pushed back any sort of resistance that may have been there otherwise, as they're going to get full control of C. Now, the thing to notice for 100 Thieves, you see they've taken through B. They're going to work their way back up in the garage to join Steel, while Hiko's going to be coming in from the top. He's going to be pouring in that utility over the top as well to make things a bit more difficult. Steel drops. Keep an eye on Aaron as he's on a swing as well. Weeded catches one. He understands where the other player is as well, but Austin, Hiko, Weeded good for 4. BCJ gets the last. Weeded almost gets the ace. XSET win the round.
Yeah, ECJ can't have known that he just stole the ace from Weeded, but that was a beautiful set of maneuvers, some fancy footwork from Weeded with the Frenzy in hand, fragging 1-2. I think it was 3 in a row, just in the same hallway. Almost solidifies the ace. He starts things off with that entry, and his team feels good now winning that pistol here on Haven.
They do now for 100 Thieves. We've seen XSET force up a couple times in situations like this. 100 Thieves not going to be doing that as they try to smoke and apply some pressure back from C-Long.
Yeah, you've almost got an ultimate here ready for Weeded, so they're just going to cake this orb for him. Try and get that run it back into the next round if possible. And already Steel dinked down to 10 HP, so not a hot start here for 100 Thieves. But Austin all the way worked up through a lobby, finds a BCJ who's wondering, what are you doing here, man?
Eco's already pretty tight as well, and it wasn't the drone who was going to spot him. He swings, trying to get the jump on him, not able to do so as Weeded and Aaron get a couple of kills. Pure watching the rotation. Right, he's so good at playing in this spot. You try to cut things off, much like we saw Steel do in the previous map, but Nitro, who it was who blasted through, swings back just enough to take care of Pure and continues on his merry way as XSET get the spike down on A.
Some real bamboozlery over there at B. They're able to grab the Sheriff headshot, so at least they've got a frag in the round so far. 48 hit points totaling here on the side of 100 Thieves, so exits, any kind of weapons you can get out of the hands of XSET's the name of the game. It's not a game that they're favored in.
No. And Steel, as is customary, finds himself behind enemy lines. BCJ not fooled by the fake teleport from Nitro as he drops.
What?
You almost
He's cheating.
expect Steel there in that moment.
He only had 10 HP, just falls over immediately. But hey, listen, something that we've talked about each and every map, Doug, is how teams are converting their bonuses and whether or not they're efficient in it. And it's not always, you're not always looking for a round win, a spike plant, any frags that you can get to build towards your ultimate.
Right.
All that stuff counts, and XSET has really struggled with it here today. But you're only rebuying one weapon, and that's Pure with a Frenzy. So this may be the best opportunity that they've had yet.
It is Weeded has his hunters, or excuse me, his from the run it back. Dang it. Asuna is also 1 point away, so you see that fight for it. Weeded's going to channel his already as Asuna wasn't able to get in on one of his own, but he does find himself up top to be able to take care of the ultimate. Curveball across, gets a good kill there onto Pure as he looks for a bit more. Again, Steel behind enemy lines. There's Asuna's run it back. Not going to net a ton. It was actually Ethan who gets the kills. Looking for a third and tees him up, knocks him down. Aaron's left alone. Guess who's on the other side?
And a really, really well-handled round there for 100 Thieves. It was fortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, even from the get-go, we saw the lineup. There was 3 players over towards long A for 100 Thieves, just ready to be there. The A rush immediately scattered out. Asuna gets a wall up from his teammate and just deploys the entire Phoenix kit to deny any movement and even popping the run it back, which Ethan capitalizes on to protect the body and help his teammate out, but ends up getting 3 for his troubles. And so, you know, we talked about the efficiency of bonuses and whether or not they're converting on them. Well, didn't happen there. XSET gets wiped. And you've, you know, maybe some degree set yourselves up for...
Down A.
Oh, man. Asuna through the cage, finding Thwifo. Already an abysmal start here for XSET.
Get so much information from that drone. See that B is safe. Nobody even really cheating towards A link quite yet, but they've just been a couple of seconds too soon as now you see 100 Thieves. 3 of the 5 members right where that just was. BCJ wise to it, good for 1. Asuna's curveball is not going to tag anything up as Weeded gets the spike down. Now the thing is, Aaron's in a great spot, but my gosh, if he doesn't look to the left, it may be a problem. Steel drops. Now Aaron's able to play back, stay alive, as they're going to try to fight through the havoc of the utility that's going to be headed that way. Ethan's got a res, but he only has 23 health. All right, he's going to bring Asuna back into the fold. Understanding where Pure's coming from. Aaron with a swing, a beautiful swing, as he gets 2, understanding Nitro. 8 bullets is alone here, but again, Aaron's weak. Pure's even weaker, so he certainly has a chance at it. Tries to turn around and deliver the haymaker, but not able to do it as Pure takes care of him. XSET get to 3.
And Pure just staying alive at the back of the site for so long, occupying everyone's attention while Weeded and Aaron are both fighting at the links. And a very fortunate, almost a little bit of lineup after a free kill and a steal here at mid, but a beautiful re-aggression here into A-Link. Nitro basically caught in a near unwinnable situation of a 1v2. Still almost turns on him and gets to the second. And NT, only 1 lives for XSET, so their money's still on the brink, so to speak. 1 Spectre on Thwifo, but generally speaking, they're okay. Another big round here for 100 Thieves to stop the advance of the marching XSET up long C. Nitro finds the first. BCJ, who back on the Hunter's Fury, man.
Yep, delivering value again. But the kill did get traded as Weeded dropped. Nitro early on in his time with 100Thieves made a name for himself, at least in Valorant, by being able to anchor this site down so well by himself. Now in a position to do so again, as now teammates are starting to rotate over while XSET pulls off.
Yeah, aware of the fact that, well, you're playing against Asuna, the chances that he's walked up into your spawn are pretty high. The spike hasn't moved in a drastic fashion away from C, so I wonder, you know, if you just maybe clear out a lobby, clear out a long, that might be enough to draw rotates from 100Thieves. Maybe re-hit C later on in the round, but actually, as I say that, 3 players, 100Thieves are moving to A. Wifo making a fake footstep over at short. And whatever they've done, it's been enough for 100Thieves to be convinced that this is moving back in the opposite direction. Even a fake smoke coming out from Aaron into heaven might be all they need to walk into a lone Nitro on C and perhaps get a C site just vastly weakened over the past few seconds.
Oh, and you could tell, man, even Nitro was starting to step away, but my gosh, he was in a good spot to deal more. Only good for one. BCJ trades it out. XSET's going to be able to get the spike down, and now the remaining members of 100Thieves make their way towards C. Nobody covering the choke. The rotate point around B, so they're going to be able to get through just fine. BCJ going aggressive. Good for one, good for a second.
Wow.
Gets 4 on the round, and Purer takes the last away as XSET play that round beautifully.
I mean, things start off with Nitro having an excellent defense over at the top of the C site, finds a free kill. BCJ just answers back with a Hunter's Fury, which somebody should check the stats. I don't think he's not gotten a kill with one yet today.
Yeah.
And he picks up 4 total, just feeling that confidence of it. But XSET, I mean, dude, I've been wrong so much today. Just about how teams are going to move into these maps, specifically just like hitting shots, confidence levels, stuff like that. BCJ probably a little ticked off about the outcome of Split, considering that was their map to win, probably in their minds at least. Now up 4-1, feeling confident, feeling good against 100Thieves, who have looked consistently great. Force finally into a thrifty round here.
And you even see the respect that XSET are willing to give 100Thieves in this situation. Not full sending, not playing anything tight, just being very careful. And reasonably so, right? You don't know what's waiting on the other side. Plus Steel, color me shocked, Steel pushing his way forward, trying to take some of that space away. He does get spotted. He does get mowed down. Ethan has joined the fray along with Hiko, and they're going to get caught. They potentially are going to get caught with their tails between their legs as Ethan was trying to hightail it out. He gets punished. Hiko manages to get away. Oh, and deal some damage. My gosh, Hiko. Oh my gosh, Hiko, another one?
I think BCJ is yelling at We Did right now for that flame wall, but that's okay. Uh-oh. You know, they've got
spots where We Did is.
Yeah, Hiko's got
One enemy
Hunter's Fury
remaining.
out. Wifo bailing out this
Wifo.
XSET post plant, man. Sheriffs
I mean,
are
they're not out of the woodworks yet. Because Dwifo's super weak. They have a decent setup on where they are. They spotted a player. Nitro. Nitro, Aaron. How many times was XSET bailed out of that round?
too many.
2, 3?
I mean, they had 3 players all staring at defender's spawn. The flame wall goes up. Both players need to reposition, specifically BCJ on point. Eco just comes around the corner and finds 2 free kills, basically.
With a ghost.
Yeah, and all of a sudden that round looked so scary, and Nitro, he had a lot of time left there at the end, though, I believe, and think about how close that was to Aaron just getting a face full of Sheriff. That would have been a huge round win for 100Thieves. Instead, XSET claiming their 5th. And this might be the biggest lead they've had all day.
Might be the biggest lead either team has had all day. We did. Looking to deal a bit more damage. He spots Hiko running for the fences. Clears out the space. Nitro using from the shadows to get back onto the site.
They had to have just gotten that read that Nitro teleported across the map, right? Look at the rotations. They're hesitating, though. This is another one of those scenarios where they've missed their timing window now. And the indecision is going to kill them if they don't. Oh, well, actually, Aldrone kind of resolves all of that. Find very quickly that there's nobody on C right now.
We did. Or Sasana. Excuse me, it's Aaron. It was Aaron who was on the other side. Either way, the outcome goes in favor of XSET as Aaron once again finds himself controlling that pinch, and that's going to force 100 Thieves to go all the way around. And as they move towards C, like a clock, they're going back towards 100 Thieves. Excuse me, XSET's going back towards A.
Cure just hears them stomping off of CT or defender spawn lower. Knows that there's nobody home at A. And like you said, man, this round is actually beautiful out of the side of XSET. The hesitation actually pays off twice now for them. And you got to figure it's not hesitation. This is manipulation,
baby.
Oh yeah. And 100 Thieves finding themselves outsmarted. You don't often see side of 100 Thieves being, I will call it outmaneuvered here, but this is a 3-site map, much more difficult to manage, more favorable for the attacking side once you get that man advantage. And Doug.
Hey, you can tell it looks like 100 Thieves, excuse me, are just going to save the rest of this round. Go ahead, Lex.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, like, you've already got 6 rounds as XSET, and I can't think of a single time we've casted Haven together where I haven't had this conversation with you, but attack side Haven, right? Like, they run away with potentially a few more rounds in this half, maybe claim 8 or 9.
Yep.
It's a really tough spot for 100 Thieves.
It is, and I mean, again, at that point, yeah, they're going to what I would argue to be the advantageous side, but the deficit that they find themselves at is considerable in that moment, and that's where XSET really, it's on them right now to dictate the rest of the pace of this map. How many rounds of a lead can they have to go into halftime to really set the stage to potentially force map 5?
Pulling them in.
Early C pressure going to be applied by XSET. All 5 players stacked up. But keep your eye on the minimap. Austin is already up towards a lobby. Hunter's Fury getting popped by BCJ, who's been flawless today, and he finds another one on a Nitro. This man can't be stopped.
He's so good, and then Weeded gets it as well. Hiko's going to try to do a bit of his own with the Hunter's Fury.
I know exactly.
As the Cosmic Divide comes through as well. The Neural Theft, my gosh, everything. They're throwing everything in the kitchen sink at him. Pure going aggressive with the Showstopper, takes care of Ethan. Asuna's on the flank, and Asuna has run it back. As he's going to join Hiko. The curveball comes out. And the confidence with which they're just swinging that. And he gets a kill onto him. Looking for a bit more. Asuna still being patient. Oh my gosh, I think he thought he had the kill pulled off. Either way, they drop. XSET get onto the site. And look, Lex, that round came to fruition at the very beginning because BCJ did not have that final ult orb. They played around that to get that in his hands, and that opened up the site.
Yeah, and just so confident from XSET, just not letting their foot off the gas. And it's not just, right, like, you have the ultimate awareness, you know, okay, we're 1 orb off, let's grab sewer, let's hit C. And, you know, you don't need to be a strategic genius to kind of glean how that might be powerful. However, what's so incredible about this entire series, and I won't shut up about it, is, okay, nice shot from Awesome to start things off. Hiko rounds out with another. Weeded who falls. Nitro able to shrouded step his way back into the B site. Hiko also reeling back. Pure took this map control away from them, but this is definitely a scary spot for XSET. But kind of to finish the thought, these Sovas have just been so important to the success of both these teams.
They really have. Really have, and now at least one of the Sovas is offline. And I was gonna say, when it was a 4v3, this round has already been more costly than XSET would have liked, and it's not the end of the world, right? It's 7-1, so they've got money for days. But you really wanted to find your way through this round. Yeah, I mean, at best, a win. At worst, ideally, like you lose the round, but you're still able to keep a couple of guns going into things. You certainly didn't want it to go this way.
Yeah, it's almost better. It's almost better that Poifo lost it right there. Okay. Yeah. Would have been unfortunate if they had gotten all 4 rifles off the ground for free. They get 3, which is still a fantastic bonus for an otherwise difficult round scenario for 100 Thieves. Not only do they come around for round win, but they get 3 rifles for their trouble, and incredible ghost work from Hiko. Some sheriff shots that find their mark, and suddenly XSET, who really seemed like they couldn't be stopped in this half. Well, they get just that.
Now, it has just been 2 rounds, right? But you see, you know, I thought they were in a better financial spot than they were, and Aaron's bought down pretty low. Asuna using the run it back after taking the middle of the map. Yep, he spotted one. Good for it on. Oh my gosh, Rifle good, or excuse me, Asuna good for a second as well. What a pretty set piece out of 100 Thieves.
Wow. Yeah, and you know, a decent portion of XSET's team, you know, that they're watching the extremities, expecting Asuna to kind of be working up long A. You know, I think it was We Did was over at long C, grabbing his ult orb, and nobody for XSET was really ready for that to be coming through window, and
No.
it pays off big time for Asuna.
And this is the 2nd round in a row here where we see 100 Thieves. They hit fast, they hit hard early on, and XSET, even though they've really controlled the pace of this half up until this point, again, that's twice now that you've seen them kind of get hit in the mouth a little bit and have to rethink things.
Yeah, this is going to be a solid 50-second long save throughout a round. I would be...
30 seconds left.
And I'm pretty sure 100 Thieves is pretty stacked on money. And they won't probably discern this for some time. They may even not care enough to go hunting for these rifles, but it may almost be worth it with the closing rounds of this half to go after them. But 10 seconds left. No one's even close. Not worth. So it'll be a 7-3. 3rd round on the board for 100 Thieves. And certainly, you know, I've been painting the picture that this is XSET in full control. They're going to win the half. 7.
I mean, they have been.
But if you were able to get 5 here, 100 Thieves, with how things have been going, you know, you almost count that as a good half, considering everything has gone wrong up to this point.
Oh, my guy, 100% you count that way, right? Like, if you're on the defensive half and you get to 7-5, that's like, yeah, man, you'll take that any day of the week, because again, you know you're going towards attack, you know you're playing into a 3-site map, and you know that you can control the pace of what the defending team is doing. It's an excellent spot for 100 Thieves to be in if they can get there.
Standing ahead.
Absolutely.
Found them.
We did one off the run it back. Early A presence being shown by XSET. You see the rotations already pulling off C. It's Asuna and Hiko hightailing it towards A to reinforce that site that they believe is about to be pressured. But this Al drone's about to maybe give a little bit of information that nobody's in mid either, so Hiko and Nitro will be the only defenders here towards the C side of the map as the push does come in. Run it back gets popped. XSET is on the site now.
Oh, but the paranoia! Oh, the paranoia! The paranoia hits 2, and Nitro's able to clean them up. Yeah, BCJ trades it out. But again, you're buying time, right? Like, you're able to delay things, and now XSET goes, well, do we commit to this site? We have time to pull off, but they've been able to assume such good post plans. XSET
Enemy remaining.
in a decent spot here, Aaron. Aaron not able to pull off the heroics at the very end. It was Steel and Aaron in a 1v1, and Steel, who showed up just in the nick of time, wins the round for 100 Thieves. And Lex, we were talking about 8-4, maybe 9-3.
Yeah.
Like, what happened?
I think 100 Thieves is just finally, you know, recovering from what was a blitzkrieg of an attack side from XSET, where a few of those executes were just rapid fire, catching players unaware. But right there, I mean, you said it, man. A heroic paranoia from Nitro and the full confidence to come through, spray transfer onto a second frag. You know, that goes from being, hey, I might be isolated, maybe get traded out immediately if I get one. A 4v4 post plan is nothing like a 4v3 post plan where, you know, it almost feels like he's stealing their opportunity away from them there, and certainly is what ended up happening.
And, you know, it kind of felt that way the last 2 rounds, right?
Right.
Previous round, it felt like it was Asuna who was doing it with the front back straight into their front laps, right? Like, they've just been able to apply pressure at just the right time. Asuna good for one on the We Did. Pushing in aggressively in conjunction with Hiko's Hunter's Fury. Causing more problems, wreaking more havoc.
Slowing things down. XSET, Steel, posted, finds Pure. And they are
Charges left.
not only financially comfortable enough to invest in an operator that allows this to happen,
Cage trigger.
they're comfortable enough to not even rotate right away. Steel just
boy.
making magic happen.
Again, it just almost looks too easy for Steel in those moments where he knew that they were going to be rotating back into him with how much time was left and all the information that was gathered elsewhere on the map. He's just able to pop a squat and really mow him down. Now, the thing that's even harder for XSET here is 100 Thieves. They have A-lane control. They have presence up towards the defender spawn, and they're going to be coming in from A-long as well. XSET are stuck, right? Like they're pinched in.
Yeah. Excellent round for 100 Thieves. And an excellent way to end the half. I mean, like you said, we were talking about potentially 8-4, 9-3, especially considering the economy that XSET had built up. And yet, at the end, 100 Thieves makes the appropriate adjustments. And I think they're playing lights out in terms of just handling these really, really dicey situations. Close angled, you know, touch and go moments where not really sure whether or not they're going to be able to even get one kill, and somehow, you know, Steel retreats, finds a second. Nitro, paranoia through the dark cover, finds two. You know, those solo site defenders that I think XSET was able to capitalize on early, trade them out, you know, set themselves up in a post plant that's comfortable. You know, 100 Thieves was doing a very good job to deny that comfort later on in this half. So, this will be an important pistol, I think, to regain some of the momentum, excuse me, that XSET have lost in the previous 4 or 5 rounds.
I was curious to see XSET had a couple of players bunched up right at the gates in B. And we've seen them on a pistol just full send across the middle of the map before. I was curious to see if they do it again, but they were just kind of checking window, and Asuna punishes them. For that presence, you see Weeded has to heal up as he gets tagged up. But, I mean, the discipline that we're seeing at 100 Thieves here, the only person who has made any sort of advancement is Nitro.
Yeah, and even he's just biding his time, waiting for the calls to come in, figure out what the team wants to do. And the Aldrone's going to be maybe a little bit of a diversion over here. See, the spike is still lingering about outside of A lobby. I imagine this is a little bit of a misdirect as 100 Thieves opting to move back towards the A side of the map.
I have dropped the spike.
Steel and Ethan both advance up long A. Never
Yeah,
mind.
XSET didn't bite.
Never
They
mind.
didn't bite
though.
at
Look at this. Ethan's heading back the other way. Beautiful reads.
30
They
seconds
bit on the
left.
second one, and it was just enough to catch him on loose footing. 100 Thieves make their way into C through garage. See if Thwyfo. Thwyfo's going to be one of the first ones there. We'll see if he can make anything happen with it as the spike goes down. And that's a cheat. That's a one-way, right? That's a cheeky little one-way wall there.
I love that. I don't think I've seen that.
Good attempt.
Oh my goodness.
I want to say it was Nitro who put it out first, but either way, Ethan's picking right up with it. They're able to leverage that one way to kill one player trying to work his way in from the defender spawn. Weeded gets messed up as well, and they can't really find their way in from that side. When you pile that on with the fact that Steel still has garage control, there's really no way into the site, Lex.
Yeah, and Ethan's hitting his shots in a big way, finding 4, looking for his ace, and there it is. Battle Sage from Ethan collecting all 5. That's a pentakill for the ages, as not only is he showing us a little bit of new tech in the post playing at C, but brandishing a pretty crispy ghost here. Just taking the knees out of BCJ, following things up with some snappy headshots. Crisp, clean locks, Doug.
Yeah, and the conversation that we've had around momentum, right? And how do you feel that kind of shift out, and who's in the proverbial driver's seat, excuse me. For Ethan to walk away with an ace on the pistol, yeah, it's a pistol, right? And it can be so volatile. It can go either way. That feels good if you're 100 Thieves.
Oh yeah, you're only down by 1 here. You're gonna be able to build up your ults, build a little bit of a bank if possible, and get shot in the face by Aaron. Awesome answers back too, though.
Yeah, it was a cool little combo that they had set up with the gravity well. He was able to get one, but then Asuna just really showing the difference that comes from having that Phantom in that moment. Even with the cool gravity well set up on top of the orb, there was just really nothing they could do.
Yeah, Asuna picking up 3 in the round. Some long-range Phantom duels going his way.
This goes here.
And I mean, you mentioned the ace from Ethan, but just in general, I think both he and Asuna have had some really intense rounds on this map in particular, but just, you know, in the series as a whole. It's good to see their confidence flowing now as we are 7-all. Round 15 of map number, what is it, 4? Fourth map now, Doug? Yeah.
Yep.
B-play perhaps coming out from 100 Thieves.
And this is, I mean, we're going all the way back to the beta days with the setup like this onto B with the Sage Wall. And note that Asuna's 1 point away from getting his run it back, but it's actually Hiko who gets the first one with the Shock Dart, no less, and a Spectre to follow it up. And then in poetic fashion, he gets cleaned up by the Roomba.
Player standing.
Ethan's got the res online, but he may not need it, as it's he and Asuna who clean up the site for 100 Thieves as XSET. Lex, like the conversations that we've had around bonuses and who's able to ride the bonus and kind of how that plays out, 100 Thieves just did it.
Yeah, they look good in that round. Not only are you just going with a set piece, walking straight into B, putting up the barrier orb, but it looked like you had layered utility flushing out all the deep angles on site. Not only do you have cover going out for each of the links, but Thwifo was back there eating shock darts. I think maybe some, maybe a Molotov was underneath him, but there was just a whole lot of damage being sent out from 100 Thieves with indirect fires. And, you know, you find the first, We Did feels pressure to come through the C-Link there. And it costs XSET big. And 100 Thieves is not letting their foot up off the gas here.
No, they weren't. And, you know, there was a moment there where he just, you know, ducks and hides around the curveball, maybe waited out, see if you get lucky, and he did. He just wasn't able to land the shots. 100 Thieves just really, I mean, they brute forced their way into A with almost no resistance. Again, making it look a bit easy, and, well, when you consider the weapons that were on the side, and in a lot of ways it was. But 100 Thieves get the spike down. They have the numbers advantage. 2 Buckies on the other side, which means that it's never a done deal. But you imagine this going their way as well.
Something that Asuna does so well for this team, and I am in no way trying to imply that he stat pads on ecos, but in these rounds in particular, I feel like they can be so problematic for other teams. Other rosters that have, you know, we've seen in similar situations throughout this weekend, maybe fall into a Bucky trap, over peak against Sheriffs.
Yeah.
But 100 Thieves, you know, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we've seen maybe more than one time they've been thrifted here today. And it seems as though they're basically just putting Asuna on point with some utility and maybe a trade fragger behind him. And they're just kind of letting him off the leash and be like, hey, go clear this out for us. Find out if there's any bad dudes over here. And more often than not, he's coming away with 2 or 3 kills on those low bot rounds for XSET. And it's just, I mean, it looks like it's a massacre firing against unarmored opponents that just have classics. But, I mean, really, he's dissecting them in those moments. And it's really, really paying off. Not just in the score line, but on the stat line for 100 Thieves. Coming up big. Asuna's got his run back. Like, look at it here now, Doug.
There we go, a good well to try to slow things down, and then Aaron very patiently waiting to see if anyone was going to be following up. Nobody was there, so he's able to take care of the clone. The hot hand's just narrowly missing. A curveball from We Did pushes him back. And after all of that noise that was made at C, the hit's actually towards B. Right, Ethan was able to take so much of that space away because of the distraction that was happening on C. 100 Fury's going to come out. BCJ again. Good for another one and a second.
How does he do it, man?
I don't know. I really don't.
Flawless.
I was going to finish that thought, and then I'm like, here's Hiko in a 1v5 with a Hunter's Fury from mid-window. There's definitely an opportunity here. It
There's
just doesn't
chance.
happen. BCJ collecting 2 with a Hunter's Fury across the map, and it's just, he's dialed in with that thing, man. But you kind of pointed it out, Doug. That misdirection towards long C really paid off for 100 Thieves. It just couldn't finish.
Right, and then, yeah, it paid off, and then BCJ happened, right? BCJ's Hunter Fury happened. He was able to get a couple of big kills, wreak havoc across the site, and then it was really smooth sailing the rest of the way. Weeded's got his run it back online here. Not doing anything aggressive early on. As Twyfel's 1 point away from having his ultimate online as well. You see 100 Thieves taking a good bit of space across garage, right? Like they're trying to lean towards C. Wall's going up. Aaron's in a great spot. Man, to stuff it dead in its tracks. And that's exactly what he does. We did! He did good for 2. 100Thieves coming out from Hiko, but it might not matter. Weeded's hunting, right? He can smell blood in the water. He wants more. He's already got 3 on the round. Hiko may be the last kill that he's looking for. Not going to get a chance to do it here. But Hiko's a man alone.
Wow. What a play from Weeded. Curveball out of the dark cover. Hops into garage, of which there are 3 enemies. Okay, Aaron holds fast at the double stack, gets 1. But just the tenacity. Just knowing that it's just his job to clear out and hold garage so Aaron can get bailed out there. And he finds 2, 3, and then up the 4th onto Hiko. Excellent play there from Weeded, who shows us not only is he a Viper main, but the dude can rock a Phoenix hard.
And the crazy thing is he didn't use it right back. He had it there, right? And he just opted not to use it, dealt a ton of damage. Huge impact on the round without that. So he's able to carry that into another power position, another rifle round for both teams.
Look at this. I don't know what the read is, but immediately knowing there's nobody at C, 100Thieves already pushing close, defender spawn here.
And this might be where we see some of these ultimates come online against Wipo, 1 point away from having the neural theft, but the wall's up. Right, they can't find their way into garage, and they have 2 options here. Either they, or well, 3, they shoot it down, they wait it out, or they pull off and try to work their way in through C. Hiko's already playing towards the back. It's actually the Steel who's on site early on. There goes the run it back. He did looking for something. Hiko's going to be just on the other side. Oh, and the op shot from Nitro. Clotheslines Pure as he's trying to get a beat onto Hiko, and the shock dart was there for it as well. As Hiko's just fine, holding down that C-long area, and again, if it's not him, it's Nitro with the op who's able to clean things up. That was pretty out of 100Thieves, Lex.
Yeah, I'm kicking myself for not paying attention to the first very 3 seconds of that round, because 100Thieves legit just turned around and sprinted up C. I think it was maybe some mid-aggression that had come out, man, and it was such a beautiful response. I mean, seeing teams react that quickly, decisively as a unit, I mean, obviously it pays off because you take the lead, and it really didn't seem as though XSET had any opportunity to really get in on the retake. He had 3 players trying to flank. Hiko had a handle on it with Nitro backing him up there, and 100Thieves not done yet in this map, and certainly looking to make a case to maybe end the series here on Haven.
And it wasn't just how they took the site, Lex. You can admire that round for so long. They take the site on a trigger, a hairline trigger, and then their post planes are so pretty. The crossfires that they had set up. Now they're very heavily leaning towards A. They've invested some utility. Wipo's in a decent spot here, and he's also got the neural theft, so maybe you get a pick. Opt to use that and, kind of give yourself a bit more room to work with. And here's where one of the differences that we see from XSET and 100Thieves in this situation, right? 100Thieves in this role are taking a lot of that space away, right? Be it down C, be it through garage, whatever. XSET being a bit more patient, being a bit more methodical, and waiting to see where 100Thieves want to strike first.
Yeah, let's see what...
The fake. The fake. Oh, and they invest a lot into that fake, right? Like the wall goes up, they use the ult to commit to it and at least make him bide a bit more time, but Asuna is there. Asuna, again, opening up the site for 100Thieves as he's able to get 2 with the curveball. Looking for a bit more. As Nitro's op is anchoring things down. There's no entrance too short. There's no entrance too long. There's no way in. As 100Thieves, again, anchor down a site beautifully.
I want to wait till this round ends, but Aaron fighting for his life now with his operator in hand. Needs to get away, but Ethan's already there, poised at front B to eliminate him, and I can't understate how incredible that timing was. 100Thieves throw a fake, which, it did draw footsteps. I mean, look at the movement on the mini-map when they do that. BCJ was not even back towards heaven yet when they were coming up long, and I believe Thwifo was up top short, and Pure coming in with the showstopper, thinking that there's no way any of the 100Thieves side has made their way up long A and onto site yet, and yet just 2 free kills on players not even looking towards them. I believe it was Asuna or Nitro coming into the site there, and it was just a margin of a few feet in a second or two where BCJ, he lost the opportunity to be that Overwatch at long A. And that's all it really needed for 100 Thieves to take that round and take the site. Look at the economy here, Doug. This is coming down to the wire again, but you got to imagine 100 Thieves is looking to put it away now.
Yeah, this certainly feels like do or die for XSET. A couple of really 3 players, 2 of them down to 100 credits. Pure is down to 300. Wifo doesn't have a ton to work with as he's bringing a sheriff into things. Aaron's got a little something, but really not a ton. Not looking great here, but if there was a moment for them to pull a little magic out of their hat, it's now. And look at how much space he did. Excuse me, and Steel too, and then Asuna. Oh, Asuna's not going to get a chance at anything, right?
BCJ bailed him.
Steel and Aaron. So Steel feeling some of that pressure. I like this response out of XSET to give them a bit of their own medicine, take some of that space away, and see how much havoc you can cause. But just as quickly as they apply that pressure, they pull up.
Poking and prodding at the attack side of 100 Thieves means XSET's got a pretty good information handle on the information available to them, but 48 seconds left, not that much time left for 100 Thieves to pick a direction in which they want to end, and it looks like it's going to be towards A. With Asuna, Ethan, and Steel all joined by Hiko over here towards long A. Nitro a little bit late with the operator in hand, but Lipo will get this information now. It's going to be an A hit.
Going to get pushed off. The wall is going to go up as well. Aaron in a great spot for a second one as well, and he delivers. Nitro's off. He said it was a bit late, but it shows up just in the nick of time to get a kill. As he looks for a second, the spike has gone down. It's Nitro's way around the corner, and he doesn't check the 50. Aaron's good for 4. He's going to get the op. Not going to be able to make it sing, though. As Ethan swings that out, Steel good for it as well. And things look so good for XSET, and they've gone so sideways, but now that 2v2, there's a neural theft. Pure swinging. He's going for more. He's looking for the second, not able to pull him down. As Thwifo looks to just stick the defuse, he gets it to half. Nitro has to look aggressive, and Thwifo takes the round away.
Wow. Wow. Aaron just with heroics over at short A. Asuna thought it was clear, came in with a curveball out. Gives away the first, or I think it was the second frag. And unfortunately, the Thieves fans at home, you just watch that, just, oh God, so painful. He knows that he's dead in that moment. And Aaron, biding enough time, finds one of the Nitro. But really, I mean, BCJ kind of wandered into the site alone with no dart. Almost gave away the advantage completely, back down to a 2-on-2. The res came out from Ethan. And again, it just looked like XSET had tossed away that beautiful opportunity, and instead they come around with a round win. Pure has an operator in hand. And you're back in this game, Doug.
Holding down a long, just when you think a team's gonna fold, just when you think we've seen the last of them and they don't have anything else up their sleeves, they show you a little something to think about it. Now look at all of the noise that Steel is making over on A. He's shooting out the trap wire. He's putting up a cam. He's making them think real long and hard about it. But again, XSET is very diligent, right? Very patient, not biting on the first thing they see, as they still stay true, right? They're still staying home. The Cosmic Divide, excuse me, is coming out. Pure with the op, good for it. As Steel drops, they're going to try to work their way on the site, but they're going to have to push through that. The counter wall comes up from Sage. Ethan good for 1. And it looks like they should be able to get the spike down, but BCJ again, it might not have been a kill, but it may have just bought him enough time. No, it looks like the spike is going to go down at the hands of Ethan anyway. As they try to push through a chaotic fight for the site, as BCJ stands strong yet again. He gets 2. He gets them to 11. Lex, we're tied up, baby.
Oh my gosh, man. That was the very first time I think this entire series that BCJ did not net a frag on the Hunter's Fury, but he's seemingly angry about it. Storms back into B and finds 2 on the retake. 11 each. This series has been so close throughout, Doug. And Haven is absolutely delivering in the same capacity. You've got basically a full buy going into round 23 for both teams. And a real opportunity for either to really pen things up and lock it away. You've got to run it back on We Did. You've got a Hunter's Fury on Hiko. And even from the shadows on this map can be extremely powerful when used right, so...
Lex, Pure with the op. He played this spot last round, but nobody pushed away up A long. Now they're going to be doing just that. The cage is going to come through. Nitro's gonna ult his way to the top. Oh no, they fully
dangerous.
committed. I mean, this is 1000% an A hit. Pure still able to get one. As Nitro's up on top, just narrowly missing a second shot, punished by Steel as they get on to A.
From the shadows already paying off, but he's conceded the heaven position. Grabbed an operator. This double stack's actually a great place to be with an op, but it doesn't matter.
Oh, early use from Hiko using the 100 Sphere. You imagine, I thought he was going to save it for a post plant, but he actually opts to use it now. BCJ going in aggressive, taking care of Steel. Weeded from up top, dropping down. The thing is, you have to go in aggressive here, right? Like, you have to meet them where they're at so you can get some space for the defuse. Weeded's wall goes up. BCJ starting to hold it. Weeded's got to go in aggressive, but BCJ might stick it. The Mad Lad just narrowly doesn't pull it off. Nitro, and Hiko go up huge there for 100 Thieves to get him to map point.
We did just a case of trying to do a little too much. I think he heard Nitro swapping out the operator and figured that was his time to strike. That was when I can get them most vulnerable, but unfortunately for them in the side of XSET, it was just a little preemptive. You think of how close that defuse was. If you could just buy BCJ a little bit more time, maybe that's doable, but wow, razor thin is not even close to describing how close the margin of error is in this match, because 12-11 now.
Oh, and they're broke.
Every little mistake counts.
And they're broke. Right, a couple Spectres and a Bucky. Yeah, they get the showstopper online for Pure, but this is not what you want to be bringing into this round. While Nitro has an op, rifles across the board the rest of the way for 100 Thieves. This is going to take some serious magic out of XSET just to get us to overtime. Oh, now they know that the Bucky's on the other side. The curveball's there. Not able to take care of much else. Aaron drops. 4 members remain to try to keep this map alive, to potentially keep the series alive. And it's not just that. Ethan's got a res as well.
Yeah, 2 players were just one shot for 100 Thieves, but Austin already healed back up. Ethan soon to give heal. Ooh.
Oh. All right, so it swings.
Never mind.
Yeah, but they have to respect it, right? And BCJ is able to capitalize on that with the Bucky shot. He isn't able to upgrade his weapon. He's the only one who's there who still doesn't have one, still playing tight. He did curveball, just waiting patiently. Oh my gosh, BCJ with the jumping Bucky. Taking care of Asano, and the spike is down. My gosh, they might do this, Lex.
This is definitely XSET's moment, Doug. 20 seconds left, too.
But Nitro's with the op. BCJ and Dwight for the last 2. The read Steel's on the flank. Steel gets both, ladies and gentlemen. 100 Thieves are your Stage 2 Week 1 champions.
Wow.